The Hun Raiders will receive.
And we welcome you here to Hightstown High School, the site of this Maple football matchup between the Peddie Falcons and the Hun School Raiders. A matchup that we have been looking forward to all season long, one that we have certainly highlighted on the calendar, and it is here. We'll jump right in and look at the standings in the Maple. Simon Rosenwasser here alongside Tom Monfilotto. Tom, you look at the standings here, Hun and Peddie 3-0. The champion of the Maple has been one of these two teams the last 4 years or so. I mean, this could very easily be the Maple championship game, and it's going to be fun, man. We've seen both of these teams play throughout the year, and they're powerhouses.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely one that you circle, one that you look forward to. I'm really happy we were able to get this in on time. Location change. Hightstown has been incredible host so far, making sure that this game got in, and it's on turf, so in great conditions. Both teams at the top of the league, and they have been for the past few years, and it's been back and forth a little bit. So we saw a very dramatic finish at Peddie 2 years ago. Last year, Peddie ran away with one, and the year before the dramatic finish, Hun won going away as well. So this is almost weirdly like a rubber match. If you if you consider the teams that Coach Maleo has had and the development that the program has had throughout his years here at the helm. So this is going to be an exciting one. Two great teams, two different teams than last year, with different pieces that are helping them in a lot of different ways. So should be a great game.
Obviously not the ideal conditions. The weather is rainy, windy, cold. It's not ideal for the players on the field. It's not ideal for us here, kind of taken out of our home press box at the Peddie School. And even everybody here, from the officials doing the scoreboards to the coaches who are used to being up here, it throws everyone for a loop. But the biggest difference probably on the field is the fact that they're playing on turf as opposed to grass.
Right.
The Peddie turf has taken a beating this year,
yep.
And they're going to forego playing on that turf, probably wisely so, to avoid any injuries or anything like that. Tom, you played for the Hun School. What's the difference between playing on turf and grass?
Well, I think it's speed. Speed is the major difference, and Peddie has a lot of it. So I think being able to play on turf really benefits Peddie and their offense and the weapons that they have. But Hun's got some too. So there are some very, very good football players, very athletic football players all around the field. This should be a good, fast, physical game. Exactly what you want to see.
And we are off. Peddie won the toss. They elected to receive in the second half, so they are kicking off. And it is the Hun School of Princeton who starts with the football. Ahmad Dixon on the return, and he brings it across the 25. And Hun will start at the 29-yard line. Let's take a quick look at the Hun offense. See if we can get this in before they put their starters in there. We're going to see two quarterbacks today. Logan Klaus listed as the starter. Josh Henderson going to North Carolina. He's going to be a guy you want to look out for. Big offensive line for the Hun School Raiders, but Jackson Barletta, also the quarterback for the Hun School of Princeton. We'll see him behind center, but it's going to start with Logan Klaus as the quarterback and Josh Henderson, the running back, and the fullback Gavin Casey. Big bodies to run behind for this Hun School of Princeton team. 1st and 10. I formation and a botch snap. They do manage to get it away to Josh Henderson. He's taken down, and a minimal game, and the ball came out, and Peddie has it. So Peddie defers the kick to the second half, and they end up taking possession anyway. Their offense is going to come out on the field in striking distance.
I'm not sure, but I believe big number 52, C.J. Presley, was the one that was able to pounce on top of that to recover that fumble. You know, as we said, wet conditions, botch snap, tried to make something out of it, but Peddie swarming, taking advantage of that. They get the ball, as you said. It's almost like returning the ball to the 20-yard line to start the game. It's just one play, they get the ball back.
So far so good if you're Peddie, and here comes their electric offense, weapons all over the field, including at the quarterback position, Maurice Bellon, who came into the Peddie School as a receiver and has settled in nicely as a versatile quarterback. But this is the running back in Patrick Smith, and he's hit hard, upended, after a gain of about 5. Pat Smith, a freshman, a true freshman from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 5'11", 175. He has opened some eyes this year, not only to those at the Peddie school, but certainly those across the state, and certainly at the next level as well. People are looking at number 4 as a potential recruit. He is a phenomenal athlete at the running back position. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Pat Smith in motion across Bellon, fakes it to him. Instead goes to John Mechie on the little screen. And Mechie, one of the captains, brings it close to a first down. Looks like they are going to mark it across that first down marker and a fresh set of downs.
John Mechie, rarely tackled by the first person to lay hands on him. Had a huge 3-touchdown game against Lawrenceville a couple weeks ago. Headed to Alabama, a fantastic talent. You might see him on defense today as well, so keep an eye out for that.
I think we're going to see a lot of two-side athletes, guys that can play well on the offensive side, but certainly can make plays defensively as well. It's Mechie in motion. Bellon able to handle the snap, but only just. That's all he could do, protect the ball and then take the sack. That was Dylan Devaney who came in. Big tight end on offense, defensive end. How about 6'6", 245 coming at you?
Dylan Devaney has been a nice surprise on the defensive side of the ball for the Hun School coming in. This is only his 2nd year playing football. He's headed to Rutgers University to play tight end there. Won 3 state championships, or 2 state championships last year, 1 in football, 1 in basketball. Is a leading scorer at Shawnee High School, is an incredible basketball player as well. Had a scholarship offer to play baseball at Lafayette, turned it down to pursue a career in football, and he's been doing really well.
Speaking of baseball, Tom Monfiletto, the head baseball coach at the Hun School of Princeton. Here's Maurice Bellon on the keeper. And he's not the biggest body on the field, but he's very strong, and he's got a solid gain of 7 yards there and a little shoving after the fact, and that's why the flag's going to fly.
And we'll see who this goes against.
Yeah.
Some extracurriculars there. You know, Hun's defense, you really can't. Obviously, the botch snap helped them out a little bit, but Hun's defense has been excellent all year long, and to be able to provide the stand that they've been able to provide, given the circumstance, and Peddie getting the ball on the 20-yard line has been incredibly impressive. But you see those big bodies, those big physical bodies, and we'll see this unsportsmanlike is going to go against Hun. Actually, it's going to be offsetting. So there's going to be no.
Do they replay the down there?
I don't know. Okay, so the down will count, and that'll be hopefully something that they monitor as the game goes on, and this doesn't become a storyline throughout the game to take away from the football.
Especially if it's a close game.
Yeah.
I think you see in hockey a lot of times in the playoffs when there's a blowout.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
you'll see the fights, but especially if it's a close game, you like to think that these players are smart enough to keep the energy on the field and within the competition of the game. So a 3rd and 12. 3 receivers on the far side for Peddie, and we will not have a snap. We'll have a timeout for Chris Maleo and the Peddie Falcons. Tom, you know Chris Maleo very well. He played, correct me if I'm wrong, played at the Hun School with you.
Sure did, yeah.
He was your quarterback. Were you snapping the ball, though?
I was the center. He was the quarterback. He came in as a post-grad after a phenomenal career at Wall High School. And he came in and he took the world by storm. He changed the culture of that football program. He helped change the culture of that football program along with head coach Dave Dudek. And he was one of the best athletes I've ever played with. And you know, I've played with people that have played Major League Baseball and have played professionally, and Chris is up there with the best that I've ever played with. And he was his tenacity on the field and his ability to just kind of get the job done when everything was against him. 4th and 15, he'd pull something out of his rear end to get the job done. And yeah, he was very fun to play with.
Speaking of 4th downs, as a coach, I don't think I've ever seen him go for a field goal. So,
no, never.
So here is 4-down territory for the Peddie School. 3rd and 12. And especially in these conditions here, it's going to be a little tough to kick field goals here today. And out of the timeout, Bellon has the snap. Has some time and now rolls to the left using his legs. Good pursuit by the Hun School, and It's a minimal gain, 2 or 3 yards.
And one of the things that I don't think Josh Henderson gets enough credit for is how good he is on defense. Obviously, he's an excellent running back. I believe he's been recruited to play running back at UNC. But defensively, he has incredible instincts. He runs to the ball exceptionally well, and he's a great open field tackler. And we saw that there, him break down and not letting Milan get more than he could have gotten there. And it's a 4th and long situation. So another great play by Henderson.
One of the things that he does well as a running back, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more when Hunt has the ball, is his patience, right? His vision, his ability to see the field and watch those holes open up. And you would think that is what translates to the defensive side of the ball as well. But here is that 4th down coming up. No field goal unit on the field for Chris Malayo's Peddie Falcons. It's Balan with 4 receivers, 2 on each side, looking left on a screen to Marlon Johnson. Johnson getting close, and he's going to be right at the sticks. It's going to depend on the spot, but I think he's going to be just short of a 1st down, and the Hunt School of Princeton, after a fumble, is going to take over on downs. What a big stand for Hunt.
That was huge. One of the things that Peddie was able to do very successfully last year was execute bubble screens with a lot of the speed that they had out at receiver, something that Hunt is certainly prepared for today, and that's a huge stand to nullify what could have been a major momentum swing for Peddie to start things off. So Hunt backed up into their own red zone here, but a phenomenal stand by their defense to start this game off.
So second play from scrimmage for Logan Klaus and the Hunt offense. It's going to be tough to throw the ball today. And Hunt's got some big bodies to run behind. Josh Henderson standing in the end zone for Hunt. And they give it to him, try to get some breathing room. Peddie, just as you got some big bodies on the offensive line for the Hunt School of Princeton, the Peddie School, they match them step for step, body for body on that defensive front.
And you heard Coach Tedeschi, the defensive coordinator for Peddie, yell out, check Indiana. I think he saw a tendency there, a little ISO play up the middle. Peddie has not, offenses have not had a lot of success running against this Peddie defense, but this is one of Hunt's strengths, so it's always a fun thing to see.
Hunt waiting the play call from the sideline, and then looks like we're going to have another timeout. It's Voss Dennis coming off the field, looking like he's got a bit of an equipment issue. Linebacker will come off, and in fact, the Peddie School, I think, is the one that takes the timeout here. Voss Dennis, an important player on the squad, so they want to make sure that they've got him on the field. Let's look at the Peddie defense. We looked at the Hun offense. Oh, this is the Peddie offense. Here's the Peddie defense. All right, Tom, you've been in my shoes before. All right, we got a lot going on today. Tough conditions. C.J. Presley, Cam Barito, and Michael Tile, the 3 defensive linemen up front for Peddie. Marlon Johnson, Voss Dennis, Davis Sherwood, and Jack Barnes, the linebacking core. One guy we will not see today is Corey Smith. He is potentially the biggest highlight on this defense when he is on the field. Has had some issues with injuries and such, but he is an exciting player. But we won't see him today, so we won't talk any more about him. Keyshawn Johnson, Aiden Nash, Khalil Majid, and David Egby, the defensive backs, under head coach Chris Malayo.
For the Raiders from their own 7-yard line.
So 0-0 here in the early going. Playing at David McIntyre Field, 5 minutes into the game. This Maple Championship game from Hightstown High School. And a handoff to Henderson. Trying to bounce it outside, pursued by Marlon Johnson, who makes the play. And Marlon Johnson, who took that screen as a receiver on the offensive side, that 4th down play, able to make a nice defensive play as well. Good pursuit, route running as a receiver, and I guess you could call it route running as a linebacker as well.
Yeah, good pursuit by Johnson. Coach Malayo thinks that he might be as good of a prospect defensively as he is offensively. He's headed to Rutgers University next year to play wide receiver. Also a tremendous basketball player, but he's done some great things for them defensively.
Here's a 3rd and 6. Klaus rolling right. Here comes Voss Dennis. Good presence, but then he can't escape as Peddie gets in on him. And number 52, C.J. Presley, is the one who finished it off, but it was Voss Dennis who was able to
kind
kind of blow up the play. You can see why Peddie wanted to call timeout and make sure that number 8 was on the field. So Hun goes, after all of that, backwards about a half a yard on their series. And we'll have another stoppage before we assume the Raiders will punt it away. We have had some wind gusts here of upwards of 30 miles per hour I've seen. You may hear some fluttering. And
yeah. I think it's the snaps have not been great on either side, and that's affecting the game so far. Right there, that was almost a cover sack. Only 3 guys out on routes, I believe, and Peddie with a nice zone coverage there had everybody pretty much locked up. So Klaus didn't have much to do, and in that split second, he had Servassier Dennis on his back. So good defensive game plan there by Peddie, and Hun with a 4th and long situation. You're gonna have to punt it out of their own end zone. Now, a punt is a bit of a unique punting formation where they usually keep the quarterback out there and have him do the honor. So let's see what they do, see if they avoid any of the speed that Peddie has, and see if Peddie
coming out of the timeout. Again, it's 4th and long
plays this safely, or if they're going to send somebody back
4-yard line
to return.
Right now, nobody in punt return position, and in fact, right now it looks like Hun looks like they're even going for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. They'll line up in this, and Logan will kick the ball away.
Oh, it's blocked in the end zone, and it will go out of the back of the end zone. That is a safety. So the silver lining for Hun is that ball did go out of bounds because Peddie falls on it. It's a touchdown. But the Falcons strike first, and it's their defense. Didn't see who got the initial hit on it. But there you go. There's that aggressive defense that you thought Peddie might throw at the Hun school, pinned deep back in their own end zone. And even though we've seen a few possessions either way, it's almost like that first fumble by the Hun school. It's a battle of field position. These first couple of series pinned them back. I mean, ultimately, it indirectly was the reason why they started the drive so far back in their own end zone. Yeah, well, I mean, there are 2 great defenses on the field now. It doesn't look like the offenses have really found a rhythm yet, and when you couple that with some great defensive play, it's hard to get the ball moving. But there, Hun pinned back into the teeth of the end zone there, not really being able to get a full 12-yard snap on that punt based on field position there, based on the play by Dennis and others before that in the sack. Really led to a shorter distance there to snap the ball and a block punt. So now Hun has to punt it away back to Peddie. Well, let's see. I think they can choose. It's a free kick. They can choose what they'd like. But they're going to be pinned back all the way back to the 20. It looks like. So Peddie, for all intents and purposes, will start with some tremendous field position. I'm going to get a look at where the wind is heading right now. Looking at the flag, the wind is moving left to right on your screen, so that would be with the Hun School of Princeton.
John Mechie back deep.
And not the start that Hun wanted, has not been able to get their offense moving. It's looking like a very good decision to defer after the coin toss, winning the coin toss, the Peddie School, and opting to kick away. It's John Mechie returning at the 30-yard line, and it's a solid return, though a flag does fly as he brings it across midfield. 5:50 on the clock here in the first quarter. And the Peddie School will come back out onto the field. We will wait to see what the penalty is. But more times than not, when you see a penalty fly from the back on a punt or a kick, it is going to be against the receiving team, and it looks like the referees and the players are shading that way. So Peddie going to start in their own territory, even though Mechie brought it across midfield.
Block in the back on the Falcons on the return.
And it is a block in the back.
Yeah, so you saw that. In on that tackle for the Hun School, number 10, Ryan Parrish, has been playing a little bit of running back and linebacker for the Raiders. Postgraduate from Shawnee High School. Kind of an unsung hero on this Hun team. One of the big reasons why they've had so much success this year. Has excellent instincts. Just has a lot of things that you can't really teach, and is just a pure football player. So look for him to make a difference.
He was a stud running back for Shawnee last year, and obviously coming out, he played linebacker too. But here, and I think they have used him at running back a couple of times this year, but obviously you've got a stud in Josh Henderson pounding the rock.
Yep.
And haven't needed to give it to Paris as much, but he certainly does make his presence known as a defender.
Yeah, that's one thing that that Hun has a lot. They have a lot of capable athletes, a lot of capable running backs. Ian Franzoni, another one, very similar player to Ryan Parrish, plays both sides of the ball, running back and linebacker, and does a great job at that as well.
Bellon again, quarterback for the Falcons. First
So
and
Maurice
10,
Bellon
for the
back in
Peddie.
behind center for the Peddie Falcons with Pat Smith in motion, and they give it to him. And not much for Pat Smith, as their first
Hand
was
off to
Malcolm
Smith, takes
Brunson,
9 yards to the 30-yard line.
6'2", 215 from Plainfield, New Jersey. He makes the play and
Second and 9
holds
for the
Pat
Falcons
Smith
from their own 30.
to a gain of 1.
And Malcolm Brunson was not able to play in this game last year, so that was a big factor and a big loss for Hun's defense. He's had a great year this year at linebacker and makes a great play there on first down. And again, we saw a high snap. These snaps are, you hate to have that be such a huge piece of the game, but they are affecting the speed of this offense.
And Peddie, definitely a team that likes to move quickly. The weather hindering the ability to do that. Here's Maurice Bellon sending Pat Smith in motion again, coming across as a receiver and taking the handoff and going for another modest gain. Up to the
Handoff again to
33.
Smith.
They need to get to the 39 for a
Picks up
first
about
down.
3 yards.
And Hun's
After the Peddie
defense, led
33
by
yard
Bob Ziegler, doing an excellent job now of keeping
Third
everything in
and
front of them
6 or
and not
7
really allowing
for the
Peddie to do
Falcons
anything
from their
really
own
in between the
33-yard line.
tackles. They're doing a lot of motion. They're trying to get the ball into a lot of different guys' hands. But Hun is doing an excellent job of kind of funneling them into the middle of the field and taking care of it with some of their big bodies.
Brings up a 3rd and 6. Peddie 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversion so far. Obviously their first series, they had a short field, were not able to punch it into the end zone. See what happens here on 3rd down. Fake the handoff across the middle. It's Orland Johnson, it's just out of his reach. It was set up well. You see Corey Smith there going crazy on the sideline. He's not playing, but he is certainly cheerleading and making his presence known for the Peddie School. And it's good to see that, Tom. You see a guy who's injured. It's good to see a guy who's not playing in the game, but still that team chemistry is still there, that energy is still being provided by Corey.
Yeah, he kind of takes the role of like a strength coach on the sideline when he's not in. The reason why they named him a captain as a junior, and he's had an excellent season and career at Peddie so far.
Very short punt, going right into the wind. Really going to have to angle those punts down if you're going into the wind that way.
47-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10.
Just remember, as a soccer goalkeeper, it's the only analogy I'll make, but when I was a soccer goalkeeper, right, and you're punting into the wind, you'd always be taught not to get it in the air, obviously. Yeah. You'd almost want to drop kick it as much as you could to try to get that low trajectory and cut through the wind. So Hun's got good field position, their best starting position here of this young game.
And at the bottom of your screen, you'll see this matchup between Nick DeGennaro and John Mechie. That's something that everybody's been looking forward to. With Jackson Barletta at quarterback, look for him to run the ball here.
And Barletta, just as Tom predicted, across midfield. He's got a gain of 4 on 1st down. Barletta, a captain, listed as a wide receiver, plays quarterback as well, a defensive back, 6'3", 200 pounds. Tom, you know the kid personally.
Oh, he is a tremendous. You talking about Barletta? I'm sorry, I was looking at some of the substitutions here. Yeah, Jackson is incredible.
It's not going to be the last time.
No, he's absolutely an incredible human being. He's somebody that I remember when Coach Maleo scrimmaged New Providence when he was at New Providence High School. He recognized Jackson and said, "This kid is an absolute baller." And on top of that, he's a tremendous athlete, can play 3 sports, but just a great leader and just a great citizen as well. We're very lucky to have him.
Logan Klaus now, the quarterback, back behind center in the gun. Looking to the right, double coverage, and it sails. Intended for Jackson Barletta.
Barletta falls incomplete.
So I will
Third down for the Raiders.
Be shocked if we don't say Jackson Barletta's name at least once on every drive here, either as a quarterback or listed out as a wide receiver. It looked like Klaus was looking right at number 15. And it'll bring up a third down after the incompletion.
Look for them to try to get Henderson the ball here, whether it's some sort of a screen or an inside route. But I can't imagine them not getting the ball to him in this drive.
Looking right, Henderson is blocking, and it's an incomplete pass right at the sticks. Nick DeGennaro could not bring it in. He was going to be
number 20, Nick
questionably close to a first down anyway, so it'll bring up a 4th and 6.
Hey, an excellent route by DeGennaro and a great closing play by John Mechie, and that's one of the reasons why Mechie is playing defense for the first time this year. They haven't seen him on defense, and they put him on DeGennaro, who's been the most prolific receiver that the Hun School has had this year. So 4th and long, we might see another punt here.
Yeah, it's Logan Klaus, and he is punting. It's Voss Dennis who lets it bounce.
Got a flag
pointing out
early.
blocks. Oh, and then he runs right into his own man. No, that's another guy. Voss Dennis is down the field at the 40-yard line. Two Peddie players collided with one another, and that's what caught my attention. But there is a flag on the field, so this is going to come way back.
Immediately, it's something that has plagued the Peddie special teams this year is penalties on special teams. So a good return by Voss is going to be negated by this penalty. But another great job by the Peddie defense getting the ball back. This looks like, so far, it looks like it's going to be a game of field position, and maybe a weird play is going to break open for each team.
I'd be shocked to see a score like we did last year, Tom. It was, what, 61-7 was the final score. In fact, we have some of the recent matchups between Peddie and Hun. Peddie winning last year 61-7. Unbelievable. And I just remember being elsewhere and seeing that score and just being shocked. That can't be right.
That was one of those games where every single thing went right for Peddie, and it was a well executed, well played game, and they played absolutely up to their potential that game. And they played probably the best game that they played all season long, and it showed. And it was fun to see. Obviously not fun to be on, to be a part of the Hun School and the Hun alumnus to see that, but it was fun to be able to see a team truly reach what you kind of thought they were capable of.
At the end of the year, the Hun School and the Peddie School actually tied at the top of the Maple standings and were determined co-champions. So technically, the Hun School of Princeton, 4-time defending Maple League champions. 3 years before last year, it was the Hun School of Princeton with those wins here in this Peddie Hun Day. Weird to have a Peddie Hun Day, not at Peddie or Hun. 2:34 to go here in the first quarter. Deep in their own territory, Maurice Bellan escaping pressure, throwing across his body, and he short arms his man. Looking for Khalil Majid.
Bellan trying to get the ball downfield any way that he can. He probably would have been better served to keep that. I think he saw big Gavin Casey coming down on him and wanted to get rid of the ball and saw some open receivers. But that's a tough play to make, going across your body, running full speed.
Bellan heading to West Point, where he is rumored to be playing quarterback there. Obviously, it'll be up to the coaching staff once he gets there to see, but has the ability to play wide receiver, and it's nice to have a guy like that who can do so much at any given time. Here's Maurice Bellan handing off to Pat Smith, and Patrick Smith across the 10, and a big pile. We're gonna see whistles before guys go down. Just gonna be a tug of war between the two big offensive lines and defensive lines.
Yeah,
3-yard gain.
Absolutely nothing going in between the tackles here.
12-yard line.
They're going to try to see, you know, with the speed that with the speed of everybody on Peddie's offense that touches the ball, just a little crease will be enough to spring them for a touchdown. So they're going to keep searching for that. And Pat Smith, who goes by Cheeks, the freshman, reminds me a lot of Keyshawn Farmer, who Peddie had a couple years ago, who was able to make a lot of plays, kind of behind the ball. But they're going to keep giving it to their playmakers, see if they can find any open space. But so far, nothing going in between the tackles.
I like that comparison. Keyshawn Farmer, he was something to see as well. But Pat Smith, bright future ahead. 3rd down and 7. 5 receivers for Peddie. And Balan wants to run, trying to weave his way across the 15. Needs to get to the 20.
Up the middle.
And he's going to be stopped about 3 yards short. So it'll be a 4th and 3. And out comes the punting unit for Peddie.
And you're seeing Dylan Devaney playing inside this week. I'm not sure if he's done that much this year, but having his big body inside and Horn and Wallace on the defensive front is really, really working wonders for the Hun School defense.
The clock ticks under 45 seconds. 2-0 the score. Peddie leads. A safety is the only score. Voss Dennis on a fake keeps it himself as a 1st down.
There you go. Riverboat Chris. Just absolutely hates punting. Absolutely hates punting.
He's like playing Madden.
Yeah,
he really is.
And that is the least. That is the least deceitful play that you probably see today. I know he's going to have a couple trick plays up his sleeve that he has saved just for this game. If the moment is there.
Were there any instances where you were in the huddle with him playing at the Hun School where you guys had a 4th down and short and the coach said punt and Chris wasn't happy about it?
Well, I think he was our punter, so I think he so even if he ran for it, I think he would just say that, hey, there's nothing, the guy was coming down on me, so I had to tuck in and run. But he probably had that plan the whole time.
Yeah. 1st and 10. Up to the 25. Fake the handoff to Smith. Balan wants to run, staying at home. Brendan Ekwugalu. Did I say it right?
Ekwalu, yeah. He goes by Prince. He has been a punisher on defense this year and makes a great play. And Hun has just been incredibly disciplined in terms of keeping the Peddie speed and the players in front of them. That was a play that worked extremely well against Mercersburg last week, which is almost like it's an option with a wide receiver. So it's a triple option with the wide receiver, which you don't see often. And you saw Balan kind of pumped to throw to Majid on the sideline here, and last week that ran. A lot of things go quickly there, so you see some linemen that go downfield, and if you don't, it might be a lateral, it might not be. So it's just a very difficult play to call for referees, and it worked wonders for them last week against Mercersburg. Hun obviously saw that and was ready for it.
All right, end of the 1st quarter, so we'll take a quick step aside and come back as they switch sides of the field. Second and 10 to start the 2nd quarter. Maurice Balan takes the snap, flushed out of the pocket. Running, on the run, downfield, looking for Majid, threw it over his head. Flag comes in, it's incomplete. Blake Hansen on the coverage.
And we saw a flag here in the secondary. I don't know if this is going to be against the Hun School or if it will be against one of the Peddie receivers for maybe pushing off down here. We'll see what the call is. A good improvised play by Maurice Balan and Dylan Devaney once again breathing down his neck, and this is going to go against the Peddie receivers.
So going to be a 2nd and very long here. I think Hun has done a pretty good job of weathering the storm time. It looked like a a tough way to start the game. They fumble their first offensive series. Peddie's got the ball, knocking on the door to go up 6 or 7 or 8 nothing, and Hun, though they do stop the Peddie school, of course Peddie gets the 2 points on the blocked punt for a safety, but now Hun has got Peddie backed up, and they're sort of winning the field position battle at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm just blown away by Dylan Devaney's ability on the inside this year, playing a position that he's not quite familiar with, but the big bodies up front for the Hun school have done an excellent job of providing pressure on the quarterback, stopping the run, and allowing their athletes in the secondary to kind of run free.
All right, so it's going to be 2nd and a mile. Ball spotted at the 14-yard line. Timeout, though, before they snap this one. The referees will figure out what they want to do. It's going to be 2nd and, 21, 22 to go for the Peddie school here. Peddie sideline getting an explanation. So they're gonna. Peddie's gonna call timeout. What's going on?
I don't know. I heard the referee say to Coach Maleo, "Now I'm going to charge you a timeout," and I'm not really sure. Not really sure what that was for, but that will leave Peddie with, I believe, 1 timeout.
Yeah.
In the half.
All right, a little spit and sputter here, but now we'll get back to the action. 2nd and 22. Three receivers on the right side of the formation. Now they're off. Balan looking, nothing's there. Now he's going to tuck it and run, and Maurice Balan will gain about 10 on the scramble. Good job not to force it downfield. It's going to be tough to throw in these conditions. We've already seen a couple balls sail for either quarterback.
Yeah, and you
say
saw
quarterback, because he's got 2.
Well, you saw 8 players in coverage there. 7, 8 players in coverage there for the Hun school, ready for whatever Peddie was going to throw at them there with an empty backfield. Actually, I believe Cheeks was in the backfield with Balan, but a great game plan so far by the Hun defense.
And you have to think that the Hun school is prepared for Balan to scramble the way that he can.
That's why they kept Casey in there. He was able to force him out of bounds and limit what could have been a much bigger play.
All right, Balan looking to throw again. Scrambling again. Gets rid of it, and it's nearly intercepted. Blake Hansen stepped in front and cut the route off. He was looking for Majid, but how about this Hun defensive front getting home right now, wreaking havoc for Maurice Balan and almost causing a turnover.
Not having to blitz anybody. That's the biggest key. You had Big Joe Horn there, who was the one that was providing pressure on Balan, and Balan not able to get comfortable. And when you can do that without sending a linebacker or a defensive back, you're in great shape. And so far, Hun's been able to do that. They've been dominating on the defensive line.
So 4th and 12, and the punting unit out again.
Majid back to kick.
It's Khalil Majid who uses the wind. Yeah, the wind going this way. And it's botched. Picked up by Peddie. And they've got it with Voss Dennis breaking a tackle. And Voss Dennis is in the end zone for a touchdown.
I don't think you can advance that, Simon. I don't think you. Yeah, it's going to be back to the spot where he recovered the fumble. I don't understand why people don't understand that. But, yeah, so if you muff a kick, if you muff a kick and you recover it, you're down right there. You can't advance it. Very, very risky play by Henderson to try to catch that. So, I don't know, catching a ball over his shoulder almost like Willie Mays, not an ideal situation. You have all those fast guys on Peddie able to pounce on the ball.
But why is that not a fumble, though?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
Just one of
it's
those
like on an
rules.
onside kick as well. You can't, like, if you recover the onside kick, you can't advance it. Yeah,
right, okay.
It's the same exact thing.
Interesting. All right, well, the Peddie school now with their
Here's
second
a fumble,
forced
and the
turnover.
Falcons will keep the ball.
huge punt.
First and 10
So
from
a
their,
big shift in field
from the
position there. And
37-yard line.
at the very least, the Peddie school now in business offensively.
Didn't the same exact thing happen in the Peddie Blair game last year? I think at Peddie. I'm pretty sure there was like because that's a huge event,
games
right?
I see.
I know, but that was a huge event. The whole school was there, and everybody went ballistic. I think Javar Garrett might have picked up a fumble and took it back for a touchdown, and then eventually got the interception to seal the game. But another fortuitous bounce for Peddie. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. But it looks like Hunt's defense has been tremendous so far today.
Yeah, fortune definitely favoring Peddie here in the early going, but still just a 2-0 lead for the Falcons. Balan looking down the field, one-on-one coverage, and the future Crimson Tide receiver, John Mechie, brings it down.
And that's what Peddie is going to need to do. They're going to need to find the way to get John Mechie the football. Prince Ekawablu with a big hit on Maurice Balan. You saw Balan kind of limping, getting up gingerly a little bit there, so keep an eye on that throughout the game. But a great job standing in there like a poised quarterback and making that throw downfield.
Yeah, he's really improved at the quarterback position. Throwing the football. It's Pat Smith now. Solid gain. He's got, what, about 4 or 5. Inside the 5 now. Here's Peddie looking for the first touchdown of the game.
Just inside the 5-yard
Obviously, we're
line
not
where
able
it'll
to
be
punch
second
it
and goal for the
in the first quarter when they had their first series start at the 14. But second and goal from the 5. 3 shots to get into the end zone for the Falcons. Won't do it here. Not fooling the Hunt School at all. And there was whistles and then a hit after the play. And now the flags are going to come out as John Mechie came out to defend the honor of Maurice Balan. I think, personally, if this was the NFL, that would have been a late hit.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. I think the whistle was blown, and you had Brunson and Ekawablu who took him down. Tough to kind of hold up in that situation where you're right there, but very, very close, obviously. And then Mechie coming in to kind of defend his buddy there, and this could end up in a 15-yard penalty for Peddie.
Especially with the quarterback getting hit like that. You see Mechie getting an earful on the sideline, and it's one of those things where you don't want to. The player is almost in the right to defend his quarterback's honor in a way, but he has to be able to keep himself in check, keep his emotions in check, because he just cost his team 15 yards. Even though you could argue that the flag's not going to go in favor of Peddie here.
No, I don't know what's some discussion here amongst the athletic directors for both teams, but kind of a poor decision there by Balan to keep the ball on that read option. You had Brunson and Ekawablu there ready to make a play, whereas inside it looked a little bit more favorable to just hand the ball off. But that's kind of the burden of being an option quarterback.
See Maleo talking with the head referee there. I'm sure you've been on the opposite side of an angry Chris Maleo a couple of times in your life.
Probably. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yep, without a doubt.
Probably on the football field.
Yeah, for sure. Only on the football field.
So we'll see when all the dust settles where they're going to spot the football. But as Tom mentioned, 2 athletic directors, Bill Quirk of the Hunt School and Jason Baston of the Peddie School, speaking with the referee crew. Todd Smith going into the huddle as well to hear what they have to say, because we've seen a couple of shoving and extracurricular activities.
Trying to get things under control.
Yeah, just get things under control. It's the right thing to do if you're the referee crew here. These things do have a tendency to spiral if you let them.
So what we will be facing here, it looks like, is a 2nd and long. This will probably be from about from like the 20-25 yard line, it seems like. I don't know why all this explanation going on here, but hey, we just want to be thorough. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think we just, in the interest of being thorough and people, both sides understanding.
Right. So from the football perspective, let's assume Peddie will have the ball at the 20-yard line, because we only saw the flag come out after Mechie got in the face of the tackler. It wasn't after the hit. So we think the hit was legal in the eyes of the referees.
Correct.
So from the football perspective, the ball should be placed at the 20-yard line. So you're talking about probably a second and goal from the 20.
I think it might be. I don't know if they replay the down. I think it's on top of. So I think it would be third down, or they would replay it, or would it be third down? Okay.
Yeah, it's a dead ball, so it would be if it would.
Oh, so they're going to
wow,
offset this. They are. That's okay. So
Peddie probably catching a break there.
I agree.
Second down and goal, but the ball spotted at the 15 after the sack. We're back to the action. Balan looking, end zone off the hands of Marlon Johnson. He hit him right in the paws, and Johnson couldn't bring it in. Usually the sure-handed Marlon Johnson, but obviously not ideal for the receivers to be bringing balls in here today.
Yeah, good effort there. Great route, great job by Balan, standing tall in the pocket and delivering a great throw, and just out of the reach of Marlon Johnson, who usually is able to pull those in.
So, third down and goal from the 15. Peddie does have the win, so if Maleo was going to kick a field goal, this would be the time, but Tom shakes his head. It's not happening.
That is not happening. They have two plays, 15 yards to get a touchdown.
Third and 15. Balan got an open man, and Mechie inside the 5, and he stopped right there. So it'll be fourth and goal, and Peddie within striking distance. Knew that they didn't have to get all of the yards there. And 4 down territory will give them a chance to put the ball in the end zone inside the 5. And what kind of thing do you see Coach Maleo drawing up here inside the 5?
I think it's going to be something to get Mechie the ball in the middle of the field if he can. I mean, we'll see what Hun decides to do here. If they rush 3 or if they bring anybody on a blitz. Usually when they bring somebody becomes open in the end zone. So we'll see what both sides decide to do here.
Empty backfield until Johnson comes in motion. It's a little shovel screen to John Mechie, diving for the pylon. He's in for a touchdown.
Quick run down the right side. He dives for the end zone, and that is a Peddie Falcon football touchdown.
Very creative design by Coach Maleo. And you did call it, Tom.
Not exactly, but they did get the ball.
They got
in
the ball in the
Mechie's
hands of number 5. And I guess that's, it's not really that bold of a call when you got a guy who's going to Alabama.
Right. But little misdirection there, shovel pass, tremendous play, and just letting the athleticism take over there, getting him into some space, and a great job there by the Peddie offense, being able to take advantage of that turnover, that big special teams play, and get a touchdown here to put them up, which could be 9.
Noah Harney is the kicker. Aiden McHugh Wood holding for Peddie. It is up, and it is good. 9-0 in favor of the Peddie Falcons. We are through
9 minutes and 49 seconds.
2 minutes and 11 seconds here in the second quarter. 9:49 on the clock here in the second quarter. And the score 9-0 in favor of Peddie. Is that a pass or a run?
Not sure.
We got some people saying pass up here.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. If the ball at any point goes forward, it's a pass, is what the official ruling is here. We'll call it a pass. Okay. Then you pad the stats of Maurice Balan a little bit as Mechie comes across, takes the little shovel pass from Maurice Balan, and beautifully done by John Mechie to dive for the pylon and get in for the score.
I just hope that we don't have any unnecessary breaks in the action. Because the football on the field has been tremendous.
Oh, like what we saw before with the unsportsmanlike and that kind of thing?
5 minutes here, 6 minutes. You know what I mean? It's not like we're doing replays. Let's get it going here.
Multi-purpose athlete number 4, Patrick Smith on the kick for the Falcons from
at least we're up here. We've got some shelter, though. There is a few leaks in the press box here, and you might be getting tripped on a bit.
This is fantastic. We're in the best seat in the house.
Best seat in the house, yeah. Everyone else they're the ones that are.
So I'm so happy you asked me to do this, because I was going to come to the game anyway and either be soaking wet.
I see. Well, I knew you had to have some sort of ulterior motive. Yeah. All right. Making sense now. All right, Peddie to kick away. with the wind. And into the end zone. By the way, it's Patrick Smith, the kicker. There was a play last week, Tom, where Pat Smith was kicking off, and he made the tackle down the field. One of the wildest things I've ever seen. That kid is everywhere.
Well, he's one of the fastest kids on the field, so I think he would be thinking he would be doing his team a disservice if he didn't try to make every tackle. Usually the guy's the safety, but when you have an athlete like that that's kicking off for you, you can take advantage of it.
It'd be fun to watch him grow a little bit. And
he also has a terrific following. His family comes. They all have shirts that say Cheeks on the back. It's a really cool thing to watch.
1st and 10 for Hun, looking to get on the board, and they need to get this guy going. Josh Henderson, he takes a wallop from Khalil Majid, who's been active early.
Wow. Khalil Majid, pride of Morristown, New Jersey, with a tremendous open field tackle and a great hit. A sophomore, can do everything. Had a couple touchdown passes against Malvern Prep and one of his best offensive performances of the year, and can do pretty much everything on the field.
Learned today that Khalil's older brother played at the Hun School.
He did, Abdul. Yes, Abdul, and he went on to play at Navy as well. Another excellent athlete, running back, defensive back. Very good player.
Majid family with strong ties to both the Hun School of Princeton and the Peddie School. 2nd and 7. And a handoff to Gavin Casey, the first man through. Maybe he's the change of pace that
could be.
That
I like
the
that.
Hun School of Princeton needs on the ground.
Obviously love that. When's the last time you saw a fullback carrying the ball in the United States of America?
Mike
that was,
yeah,
maybe. Oh man, that was terrific. Great run by Gavin Casey. He is a man's man. I mean, he's a man. You look at him and you want to shake his hand and you don't want to let it go because it's one of the firmest handshakes you'll ever have.
1st and 10 from the 31. It's Henderson patiently awaiting the hole to develop, and then he hits it for a solid gain of about 7. C.J. Presley in on the tackle.
Well, power play, Hun's bread and butter. Great patience there by Josh Henderson, as you mentioned before the broadcast started. A great run. If Hun can keep putting these together, it's going to open up a lot more things for them to do offensively. One of the things that we have not seen utilized today is Nick DeGennaro on the outside, who had 2 interceptions returned for a touchdown against Lawrenceville last week, including a receiving touchdown, but have not heard from him yet today.
Another handoff to the first man through. I don't think that's Casey. Let's see who it is. I know it is.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
It is Casey. All right. So Casey gets another carry, and I think he got the first down yardage. Yeah, they threw to DeGennaro once, but it was, they went to him on that 3rd down play, and it was knocked away.
Yeah, he's been Hun's probably most productive receiver last week against Lawrenceville. Not only did he have the touchdown catch, but he had 2 big 3rd down receptions that he stretched into first downs. Had just an excellent day. It was a coming out party for him big time.
So fresh set of downs from the 42. Another run for Casey.
No, this is Malcolm Brunson. So they've been able to use some of their fullback options here. Some of their linebackers just giving them the ball, old school, up the middle, finding a little bit of weakness in that Peddie run defense.
Is that respect for the Peddie run defense? Is they're keying in on Josh Henderson a bit, so they want to, mix it up, so to speak?
I think it's great. I think it's an excellent idea. I think they're running right behind Big Joe Horn, who is a mammoth human being. Just looks like a giant bear on the field with a helmet on. And he has to walk sideways through doors. I'm dead serious. There is not a single doorway wide enough for this youngster.
What do they got in the water over there at the Hun School of Princeton?
Well, protein? I'm not sure. Some omega-3s? No, but he's fantastic. One of my favorite kids in the school.
2nd and 6. It's Henderson. Flag comes in. And the tackle made by Chris Mayo, another big-time prospect from Woodbury, New Jersey, 6'6", 305.
Was that illegal form? I didn't see the penalty.
Illegal formation, is that what they call it?
The play is illegal motion on the Raiders.
So
receiver came up before the snap, but a good play by Mayo nonetheless. You saw big Kevin Widgington pulling on that play, not able to get there quick enough, and Peddie's defensive line being able to bust through and make a play.
Tom, one of the differences, like if it's an offensive penalty like that, sometimes at the high school level they'll let it go, but like if you watch an NFL game, they'll blow that dead, right? Like Peddie had the option to decline it here,
right?
Which is obviously in their best interest because they got the loss anyway.
I think there's a difference between illegal motion and a false start. A false start is blown dead. Illegal motion, you play it out.
Okay. 3rd and 9. I formation with Henderson as the running back. Logan Klaus, the quarterback. And it looks like the Hun School of Princeton will call a timeout. 6:40 on the clock. And Hun with a deficit of 9.
In the first half with the score 9-0.
You're starting to think about how hard it has been to score here in this first half, and the knowledge that the Peddie school, since they deferred, they'll start the second half, the 3rd quarter, with the football. So every possession going to be amplified much more, and certainly as we tick towards the mid part here of this 2nd quarter, big 3rd down conversion attempt upcoming here for Hun. What are you looking for them to do?
I think they need to try to get the ball downfield somehow. They need to be able to get somebody in space. Now, Peddie, as much speed as they have offensively, they have the same amount of speed on defense. So it's not easy to do that. And I think, what Hun was able to do running the ball, I think they wanted to be able to see that open some things up down the field and maybe out of their play action game. But they're going to have to find the way to get the ball downfield or treat this as 4-down territory.
2 receivers now lined up here on the near side. Fake to Henderson. Clean pocket. Klaus down the field. He's got his man. It's Dylan Devaney rumbling his way inside the 25. And there's a way to get the ball down the field. Big target, Dylan Devaney. And how about the protection up front for Logan Klaus to fire in a strike?
Excellent protection, excellent throw, excellent route. Dylan Devaney has done a phenomenal job. He is having one of his best games of the year, and great timing for that. Is really, really showing how dominant he can be and how great of a player he can be on the field.
And if he's playing well, it gives you another weapon at the receiver position, allowing Jackson Barletta to go line out as a receiver. It is Klaus behind center here. And it's a handoff to Casey. Man, he is a tough man to bring down, Gavin Casey. And he was hit right at the line of scrimmage, and then it took 3 Peddie players, including Marlon Johnson, to bring him down after a gain of 5.
Marlon Johnson trying to get the ball out. Going to be difficult to do that with the all-encompassing pipes of Gavin Casey swarming the football. But you see that there's openings there in the run game with the fullback up the middle, and see if that will open up more plays downfield and look for them to exploit any kind of size advantage that they have. And Devaney would be one of those.
Hun moving down the field, 2nd and 5. And this run goes to Ryan Paris, former Shawnee High School running back and linebacker. He gets his first carry of the game, but it goes backwards, and it'll be 3rd and 6.
And that's actually a pretty nice play by Parrish, who that play could have been blown up 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he made it a little bit more respectful, almost getting back to the line of scrimmage. So big, tough running back there. It's like Hun is trying to go with some strength and some force against this Peddie defense.
Harris from Medford, New Jersey. Now the receivers on the far side of the formation. Jackson Barletta in the slot. Quarterback Logan Klaus. Josh Henderson on the run, and it's blown up right at the line of scrimmage. The play made by, once again, C.J. Presley, 6'5", 270 from Philadelphia.
You saw Peddie playing the run there. You could almost tell that they were geared to stop that run. And it's important for Hun not to fall into any kind of patterns here with this good swarming Peddie defense.
It would be a really tough kick into the wind. And Hun is driving deep into Peddie territory. It's a 4th down and 6 for Todd Smith's Raiders. Klaus rolling right, looking end zone. And just short of it, it's incomplete. Jackson Barletta had it go off his paws. And on the coverage there was John Mechie. And Peddie takes over on downs. Long drive for Hun. They're able to flip the field a little bit.
Yeah, I think they saw some things that can work for them. I think they can use some of this in the second half to their advantage. But another great play by John Mechie. And Simon, I don't know if you knew that John Mechie's mother has never seen him play football. He's from Ontario, Canada. And last night, Coach Maleo flew in Mrs. Mechie, and he surprised John with it, and they picked her up at the airport. And that's
No way.
Yeah, it's he called me. He said it was like one of the most incredible moments that he's ever experienced. And you know, those are the things that Chris is able to think of that not many people do, and he's able to pull off, and it's like a really special story. And you know, John gets to play one of the biggest games of his high school career so far in front of his mom, and she'll be able to watch him, you know, for many, many years to come, as he has an incredibly bright future.
That's why we bring you on, Tom. It's good stuff right there as Pat Smith takes the handoff. Biggest run of the game for Pat Smith. Up to the 34-yard line, and a fresh set of downs for Peddie.
Good tackle there by Blake Hansen, and that's kind of the first time that we've called his name so far, because Hun has done a great job with their interior, the guys in the box making tackles. So as you said, biggest run of the game so far for Cheeks.
Fake handoff as Balan will keep it. And he's blown up there. The defensive end in the form of Harrison Hill makes the play.
Harrison Hill had a great game last week against Lawrenceville. A great play there. If I'm Coach Vallejo, I'm scrapping that one. We're just going to put that in our pocket. We're going to save that for another rainy day, because I don't think that's going to work. Both times they've tried it. Both times it's been sniffed out, and we'll see what he comes up with here. Second and long, big draw down, big screen down. We'll see what he tries to do here.
A couple of wind gusts here in the last couple of moments might make it tough for the Peddie school to throw the football. A second and long, 13 yards to go for a first down. Balan looking right. Fires, and it's off the hands of Servassier Dennis. And incomplete. Sailed a little bit on Maurice Balan. It's tough to get that football down, it seems, especially going this way.
Ball
from left to right as you look at it on your screen.
Probably still be caught. One of the things that we got to keep track of here, John Mechie on the sideline working with the trainer for Peddie. So we'll see. That could be a major, major factor as the game goes on here.
Yeah, taking his jersey off. Might be a shoulder injury from the looks of what they're looking at now. But number 5, John Mechie, the lone touchdown scorer of the game, not currently on the field for the Falcons. It's going to be 3rd and 13. Balan steps, fires, completes.
Outstanding catch and a great throw by
Voss Dennis. So now we're in 4th and 5. It doesn't even matter where the Peddie school is on the field. You have to consider them possibly going for it if it's 4th and 5 or less. But it does look like they're going to send out the punting unit.
And Majid was able to get off a tremendous punt last time.
Yeah, especially with the wind.
Yeah, which led to, because he can get some height under it, and that led to the muff punt that eventually led to a touchdown.
And this one will ride the wind, bounce at the 25, all the way inside the 10. Still rolling as the Peddie school will eventually pick it up at the 8-yard line. So there you go.
Good decision.
Yep, good decision by Coach Maleo, who, as Tom mentioned, does not like to punt. It pains him every time he sends that punter out onto the field, but it's just an obvious call when you're with the wind, a game script that has obviously highlighted the importance of field position here in the first half. A wise decision, and now the Hun school, who had to battle hard for field position, getting all the way up the field their last series, has another long field to look at as they take over here with 1st and 10 from the 9. .2:11 on the clock. And a handoff to Henderson. He is taken down in the backfield. Michael Tile there first.
Hand off to Henderson, and he's taken down quickly by Mike Tile.
So that's a loss of 4 on the play. And Hun in danger territory here. Back within their own 5. Remember the first quarter, and the Hun School of Princeton was backed up. We've got another flag here well after the play. And very likely another one of those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. We didn't see any shoving, but we obviously can't hear everything on the field either.
Hun might have thought that there was a face mask on that play by Tile in the end zone.
So it's going to be half the distance to the goal and bring Hun back another 2 yards. So they will have a 2nd and 16 from the 3. So again, dangerous area here for Hun. They were backed up against their own end zone in the first quarter, and ultimately it led to a blocked punt and a safety. The first points of the game for Peddie.
Look at Hun. Oh, now they have a high safety, so.
It's a handoff, and Henderson's got room. A little breathing room here for Hun. A really good run, actually, across the 15-yard line. It's probably Henderson's best run of the day. Pettie's kept them in check for the most part, but it'll be a 3rd and 3.
It's exactly what they needed. They spread Devaney out. They got some linebackers out of the box there. They were able to give it to Henderson. Henderson lowered the boom to finish that run off. Mechie still getting his shoulder evaluated. Might not see him again today.
We don't see him in the second half. We're definitely not going to see him here at the end of the first half, but he's putting a jacket on, and not good. Here is Henderson with some extra running after the contact, and the flag does come in. So we'll see where the flag goes. Might go against Hun and wipe away the penalty, or wipe away the run, and it does.
Yeah, but we've seen on both of those runs, Henderson playing like a man possessed. If you give him some space, he's going to be able to do something special with you, but you can't. Unfortunately, some of that space was caused by a holding penalty.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that can just change the game, right?
Absolutely.
You get him in space, one play, and that's all it really takes. One big play, and the whole complexion of the game has changed. We haven't seen too many big plays in this game. The biggest play probably the muffed punt.
That's going to bring up 3rd and 9 for the Raiders from their own 10-yard line.
Both teams grinding it out here in tough conditions here at Hightstown High School. Of course, if you're wondering why we're not broadcasting from the Peddie School, they decided not to play on the Peddie School grass because of the conditions here, and nearby Hightstown High School is our home. It's Henderson off left tackle, and not as much this time. On a 3rd down and long, it'll be 4th down, and Hun will punt it away. There's 11 seconds and counting left, and that's going to do it for the first half. So an entertaining first half. It's a nitty-gritty first half between the two teams. The Peddie School with a 9-0 lead. John Mechie, the lone touchdown, but the big development is that Mechie is on the sideline, and he does not have his jersey on. So it remains to be seen if we will see him for the second half. It does not look like we will, as he's putting his stuff away. So that's going to be a big development in the second half. Tom, your thoughts on what you saw here?
I think that factor can open up the passing game a little bit for the Raiders, because Mechie has been able to shut down whatever receiver he's been lined up against, specifically Nick DeGennaro. I think you're going to see a lot more Dylan Devaney in the second half. I think you're going to see a lot more kind of power ball. As long as the score remains what it is, Hun can afford to kind of get the ball down the field in small spurts and use their maybe size or strength advantage, if they have one, to get the ball down the field, which was working for them towards the end of the first half here. Peddie, I think both sides need to really stay disciplined and really make sure that penalties don't have a drastic effect on this game. And obviously special teams are a huge factor in the first half. It's what led to Pettie's only touchdown and things like that. When you get to games like this where just an inch can really sway the decision of a game, those things need to really be buttoned up. So we'll see.
All right, so we will take a step aside, break for the halftime here. Hopefully it's not as long. These players probably don't want to stand out in the rain, but looks like they're heading to the Hightstown locker rooms. 9-0 the score. Peddie leads Hun here in this Maple League contest. You're watching live Maple football here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. All right, back we come here to Hightstown High School, the start of the third quarter between the Peddie Falcons and the Hun School of Princeton Raiders. Simon Rosenwasser, Tom Monfiletto here with you to take you through this miserable rainy day here in Hightstown, New Jersey, as the Peddie School. Wait, didn't they defer?
So, yeah, they did. So, you get the choice. When you
Did they
defer,
receive at the beginning of the half?
No, they didn't. They kicked off. But when you defer, you get the choice at halftime. So, they chose to kick to
They're
go with the
choosing
wind. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is
and I guess
really, I don't
like,
think I've ever seen that
they
before.
basically received in the first half.
I only know it from like Madden, right? Like at the beginning of the game where it's like you want to kick or receive, right? And like if you kick, that doesn't give you a choice to defer at the beginning of the second half. I didn't even know that was a rule. That's incredible. So Peddie actually kicks off at the start of the first half and the second half.
All right, and you see Maurice Ballon in on defense. He is in for John Mechie, who's playing corner, and they're going to test it. They're going to test. Wow, wide open.
Dylan Devaney running down the sideline and now cutting towards the middle. It takes a couple Peddie Falcons to bring him down. Voss Dennis finally catches up to him. There is a flag on the play all the way back near the line of scrimmage. It's going to go against the Peddie Falcons. And it's illegal hands to the face against Peddie. So that is a huge play for Hun. And Tom, we saw a big play, probably the biggest play offensively for Hun, went to Devaney. And he's got that big body. He had that big catch, the biggest play of the drive that Hun really moved the football. It's going to be something that Hun probably wants to get involved a little bit more.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge. He was wide open. Obviously, a tremendous play called by the Hun School and a lapse there by Peddie's defense, as Devaney was literally wide open without anybody within 10 yards of him. So a great way to start the half, and they get 15 on top of that for the hands to the face. So Hun could not be in a better position here.
Yeah, and by the way, Peddie opting to take the win in the fourth quarter. Right now the wind is with the Hun School, so advantage Hun right now on this drive. They hand off to Josh Henderson. He sheds a tackle in the backfield and then fights his way forward for a couple.
Hand off to Henderson, and he sheds a couple of tackles.
Tom, a little bit of controversy, if we want to broach this subject.
Sure.
Around the time where Peddie scored the touchdown, there were the offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in which a down did not reset, or the down did not go forward. So there are those who are thinking that Peddie may have received an extra down in which they scored a touchdown, but obviously it's in the books as a touchdown, and that's what it's going to be. Josh Henderson on the run here. 3rd and 1 coming up.
And that was they scored on 4th down.
They scored on 4th down, right.
A little dicey.
Little dicey. It's not Peddie versus Hun if there's not at least a little bit of controversy.
Pick up on 4, and it's going to be 3rd and a yard.
3rd and short. This is exactly what Hun needed to do to get back into this game. Was a quick shot down the field. Try to get some points back on the board as quickly as possible.
Henderson, the running back, has it, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown, and the Raiders are on the board. 1 minute and 50 seconds into this third quarter, and Hun has worked themselves right back into this game. It's 9-6. And now do you question, Tom, do you question kicking off at the beginning of the second half instead of receiving the ball and maybe controlling the clock? It's obviously, it's probably an answer that we're not going to be able to, or question we're not going to be able to answer until the end of the game, because Peddie is going to have the advantage in the fourth quarter if the win remains the same.
Right. So we'll leave that judgment until afterwards.
That's fair enough.
Monday morning quarterbacking on that one.
Hun lined up to go for 2. And it's Henderson up the middle. Barely touched, he's in. And we've got ourselves a 1-point game. What a drive from Hun. Another flag comes in well after the play. So
up the middle to Henderson on the
let's assume that this 2-point conversion is going to be good for Hun.
It's successful. He's into the end zone, and that makes the score 9-8. The Falcons with the lead with 10
But
minutes
just like
and 10
that,
seconds
this game
remaining
changes
in
so
the third
quickly.
quarter.
Hun,
There's a
who had to
flag
fight
on the
for
play
every yard in the first half, makes it look
after the
easy
whistle.
here. The big play, long catch for Dylan Devaney, who was wide open. A breakdown in coverage for Peddie, put them in striking distance. And then Josh Henderson is the one who's able to put it into the end zone for a touchdown.
And this Hun offense, if you give them a little bit of room to gain a little bit of momentum, they're going to take advantage of it. And they're you know, it's a high-scoring team. It's a high-powered offense. Sometimes all they need is just a little bit of confidence to be able to get things rolling here, and that big play did it for them. So if they have any of those left up their sleeve, you'll be sure to see them in the second half as they try to make a comeback here. But we have seen much weirder things happen where you could have two completely different halves of football.
Yep.
So we'll see. The first half started off kind of in Peddie's favor. The second half has started off in Hun's favor. So we'll see how each team responds.
And just to emphasize the importance of this game, we'll look at the Maple standings right here at the beginning of the second half. Two 3-0 teams in the Hun School and the Peddie School. You could easily say it's not officially going to be the Mid-Atlantic Prep League Championship, but it essentially will be the Mid-Atlantic Prep League Championship. The winner of this game will be in prime position to take home the crown. Of course, the two teams splitting it last year.
Yeah, both teams with one loss. Peddie had an uncharacteristic loss to Lawrenceville last year. So because they both had the same record within the league, and this kick by Ryan Casper is excellent. You can go into the end zone for a touchback. But because they both had the same amount of wins in the league, I don't know when, but at some point they decided to forego the tiebreaker situation, which used to be in place. But now if you have the same record, you share the title. A lot of people have been pining for just having one game at the end of the season to decide a championship. I think that would be great. I think maybe somewhat of a bowl game against the champion of another league would be cool. But those things are way easier said than done.
Yeah, you know how long it took for the college level them to get a bowl championship series, where the playoffs for college. So a lot of red tape to go through to get those kinds of things done. 10-10 to go here in the first half. Excuse me, third quarter. And little trickery here. It's Boss Dennis going deep down the field. And Marlon Johnson had a step.
Open.
Yeah, he was open.
And Savasier Dennis played quarterback in high school last year. He's a postgraduate for the Peddie School, but he played for CBA up in Syracuse, which is a tremendous football program. And if you watch some of his highlights at quarterback, he actually played quarterback one game this year where Reese was hurt, and he did an excellent job.
Yeah, he did.
I think it was against Hill, and that was wide open. Now, they need to be able to execute those plays, but more importantly than anything else, Peddie just cannot afford to get discouraged in any kind of way because of the way that Hun was able to bounce back very quickly there.
And going against the win here in this third quarter, and Hun has already flipped the game script, down only by 1. And the snap goes over Balan's head. Smith tries to pick it up, and it's going to be loose in the end zone. Who's got it? If it's Hun, it's a touchdown. It's Hun, and it's a touchdown.
The snap goes awry, and it's over the head and into the end zone.
That's Malcolm Brunson who came up with it in the end zone. And these snaps, we talked about them in the beginning of the game, they're starting to become a major factor, and the weather's starting to become a huge factor here as well. So Hun, with all the momentum to start off the second half here, retakes the lead, or takes the lead. They never had it, so.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the third quarter, and this game has changed tremendously. Patrick Smith, we sing his praises all the time, but there, he probably would have been better off just trying to fall on the ball. And the freshman tried to pick it up and make something happen. Instead, it was batted into the end zone, and Hun falls on it for a touchdown. So here's the extra point, lining up for a single extra point. And a line drive over the crossbar, through the uprights, and it's good. 15-9, the Hun School of Princeton has flipped this game around.
9 minutes and 55.
Todd Smith must have said something at halftime.
It's truly incredible. Yeah, so for Hun to be able to maintain their confidence in poise coming into the second half, it's really shown. And now they look like they look like the ones that are completely in control of this game.
Boys soccer team has defeated Peddie School 2-1 in that contest.
So 9:55 on the clock. Peddie's going to get the ball back, and they're going to have to go into the wind again. And there's a lot of time left here in this third quarter where the advantage is going to be with the Hun School. Coach Maleo electing to kick the ball away. Even though he deferred in the first half, he deferred also in the second half to maintain the ability to have the wind in the fourth quarter. But that means he's going against the wind in the third quarter. It's a decision you can make a little bit easier when you're up by 9 points. But now he finds himself down by 6, and his team's got a hill to climb.
Patrick Smith back deep for the Falcons to receive. Casper on again to kick for the Raiders.
You see Davis Sherwood being evaluated here by the doctors here on the Peddie sideline, and he's been playing middle linebacker for Peddie all game long. And obviously with the absence of Corey Smith, he is an essential part of that defense.
It looks like they're evaluating him for a head injury. Kick is fielded at the 25, and wow, a huge hit up high. Is that Josh Henderson on the tackle?
It wasn't. It was Gabe, my man, Gabe Craven, who's been outstanding for the Raiders on kickoff all season long. He's a lacrosse goalie headed to the Naval Academy. Made a big play on special teams there for the Raiders.
David Harris was the one who took a shot. So Peddie now with a little bit of adversity. It's not something that they've seen in this game and really much this season. They're trailing by 6 going into the wind, and the Hun School defense has come to play today.
You know, in some of Peddie's early contests against some really good opponents like Gonzaga, like Bishop Sullivan, and like Malvern Prep, they've faced some similar situations and were able to we're able to fight back in some of those games. Didn't wind up on top against Gonzaga or against Malvern Prep, as we have another flag in here. But the hope is when you play teams of that caliber, it prepares you for situations like this. And time will still tell. There's still a lot of game left, but you have to hand it to Hun for how they came out here in the second half.
So Pat Smith on the first down carry, and here's the call. It's against Hun. So Hun, you don't want to get cocky, you don't want to get careless. And of course we've seen some, as we've called it, extracurricular activities throughout this game. The Hun just gave Peddie 15 yards. So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. And Maurice Bellan stands in the gun, looking to lead his Falcons back into this game. Quick screen to this side. Wow, that was a knuckleball. And just on that play alone, it's a good indication of how difficult it is to throw the ball. And the wind gusting as we speak from left to right on your screen. And that ball, that was going all over the place to Marlon Johnson.
And those quick hits, side to side that's a huge part of Peddie's offense, and that's a big factor to be able to take away from them, in this game. So the weather conditions certainly favor the Hun School.
They called it a completed pass at 2nd and 13. Hand off to Patrick Smith, gets some yards back. The ball comes out. Smith able to fall back on top of it. He may have been down anyway, but he gets across the 50-yard line, and it's a gain of 8 yards. And
8 yards inside Hun territory.
5 yards to gain for the Falcons. The Peddie Falcons here on 3rd down.
So Harrison Hill shaking up a bit on that play, but able to sprint off the field. And Caden Wallace, big Caden Wallace, coming in. Just look at the height, not only the size. Look at the height of the front 3 there for the Raiders, between Caden Wallace, Dylan Devaney, and Joe Horn. Not a soul under 6'3" there.
Joe Horn listed as 6'2", Tom.
Okay, well, maybe he's 6'2".
On average, though, you got Caden Wallace at 6'6". Yeah. They're averaging above 6'3". Pat Smith got a 1st down.
Smith on the carry again with some tough yards
point
up the middle.
take.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, got it. Got it.
To the 41-yard line for a Peddie Falcon first down.
We'll see what Peddie's able to get going here. As we said, Mechie no longer in the game. That's a massive weapon that you can't utilize. You're not really able to use the side-to-side passing game, so they're gonna have to find something going on the ground and find something maybe in the middle of the field. But they have not been able to really throw the ball consistently today.
Pat Smith's found a few holes the last couple of plays. Hard count for Balan. Drops the football. Able to recover. Now looking to run. Throws on the run and finds his man Majid. Great job by Maurice Balan, turning a play that could have been a disaster into a positive one.
Now, Maurice did not know that he was going to play quarterback until very close to the summer. So they weren't really sure whether they were going to go with Balan, if they were going to use Savasier Dennis at quarterback. And Balan has done an absolutely remarkable job at the quarterback position, largely because of his ability to do things like that, which drop a snap, pick it up, get some kind of positive yardage out of it, and no play is ever dead with him at quarterback. And he has made such progress throwing the football this entire season. So he's been really fun to watch.
That's why his focal point may be quarterback when it goes on to play at the next level for West Point. Second and short. Balan takes the snap. Pump fakes, fires for Johnson. It sails. And it's incomplete.
There's a flag. There's a lineman downfield for Peddie. So that's going to come back, and I think that's a loss of downs as well.
Ball's incomplete on the post.
Not sure what was.
Flag on the play.
It is officially called as what you said, an ineligible man downfield against Peddie.
Call is an ineligible man downfield for the Falcons.
The question is it going to be second down or third down? It will be second down for the Peddie Falcons, so they'll get to redo it in essence from 2nd and 6. Ball spotted at the 38 now. 37-yard line, actually.
37-yard line.
Peddie down by 6. 7:15 to go here in quarter number 3. Simon Rosenwasser, Tom Monfiletto, live here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. And Balan with a little bit of misdirection has it for Patrick Johnson, Patrick Smith, excuse me, as he comes across the formation and has a gain of 2 or 3.
And Balan is doing a really, really good job handling some of these really poor snaps. That is something that if you decide to take everything in shot, which pretty much every offense you see nowadays is out of shotgun, it's a risk that you have in these conditions, and he's doing a good job. But having that be something that you have to handle every single play limits what you can do offensively. Right. And it's obviously it led to a touchdown, but even aside from the touchdown, it just throws off the rhythm of the play. And that's why Peddie's they've really been struggling to get something going here offensively.
3rd and 4 in Hun territory. Pat Smith to the left and a little bit behind Maurice Balan. Majid in motion. Smith has the handoff and churns his legs. Has a couple of yards, but he's going to be short of the marker. 4th down upcoming.
So the triple option that you're seeing here is something that Peddie has not really run this year, and they've really saved it for this Hun game. And you'll see some guy, like you saw Majid come in motion. We saw the shovel pass earlier in the game to Mechie for the touchdown. But that's something that they've been practicing all year long, but haven't really shown in games, and trying to work it now. But as I mentioned before, the timing of that is so crucial. And there was a bit off, and Smith was able to make a little bit something out of nothing. But we'll see what they go with 4th and short here. Big time play for the Peddie offense.
Fourth down and 1. Balan in the gun. Oh, and the snap goes over his head again. Balan picks it up, and then he's sacked in his own territory. And another bad snap leads to a turnover on downs for Peddie, and now Hun will take over in Falcon territory with the wind, and 5:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's going all Hun's way here in the third.
So I think that was a product of the Peddie center realizing that Hun had might have crossed the plane there and snapping the ball as he noticed that. The referees did not agree. Ball went over Balan's head, and now we have great field position for the Hun school.
So Hun now in control, and when they were down 9-0, we were wondering what they were going to do offensively because it didn't seem like things were working on the ground. But now you feel a little bit more comfortable with a 6-point lead running the football with Josh Henderson, though they were dropping back to pass with Logan Klaus before the flag came in. And it'll be a false start against the Hun Raiders. 1st and 15 upcoming.
The Raiders is going to take it back into their own territory. It'll be 1st and 15. From their own 46.
And really is a tale of two halves in this game.
With 7 minutes left in the first half, girls varsity soccer at Peddie is up 1-0 over the Hun school.
They've just heard that girls varsity soccer, Peddie is leading Hun 1-0. Contest going on at the Peddie school between the two squads. Long pass that goes off the fingertips of Hun's Nick DeGennaro. He had a step, it would have been a touchdown probably.
He had a step because he made an absolutely fantastic move on Keyshawn Johnson on the corner. A double move, basically spun to the outside and was wide open, and Klaus put it right in his hands. You have to be able to finish those plays. A tremendous route by DeGennaro, a great throw by Klaus, and Peddie got away with one there big time.
It was right on the money. So it brings up a 2nd and 15. Good throw by Klaus, as you just said. It's been a big development having Barletta split out as a wide receiver. They have trusted Logan Klaus as the quarterback. He hands off to Josh Henderson, maybe gains a yard.
Hand off to Henderson off tackle, and he's taken down pretty quickly.
And it was Voss Dennis in on the stop.
And you have 3rd and long, but now, I mean, there is a silver lining to that mishap with DeGennaro is that they know that that's open. You know, they know that it could be a little bit of a mismatch over there. So let's see if they go back to it because they haven't used him yet, and he is certainly a weapon for them to use.
Again, worth mentioning, Peddie without John Mechie. He is a difference maker on the outside defensively. So they're down a defensive back. And they're throwing again, this time to Devaney, and it's over even his 6'6" frame.
Yeah, sometimes, a lot of times you do see Hun keeping it very, very, very simple, and that is, hey, our guy's taller, stronger than your guy. We're going to try to get him the football. And that's what it was there. Exactly, and that's what it was there. They split Devaney out wide, had a height advantage, and weren't able to execute there.
So 4th and long, and Hun will punt with the wind and hope to pin Peddie deep in their own territory.
Voss Dennis back to receive the kick.
Not a bad kick, son.
Nope, little pooch kick. It's bounced at the 25. Picked up by Voss Dennis, calls out some blocks, and then trips over his own teammate in the form of Aiden Nash. So decent return from Voss Dennis. He's talking with Nash, who doesn't want to hear it.
From their own 22-yard line.
But after all that, the Peddie Falcons will start at the 22.
Yeah, and Peddie dealing with a very, very confident Raiders defense now that is riding high off of the stops that they just had. So this, in order to sustain a big drive, we haven't seen many big plays yet out of this Peddie offense. If they want to drive the ball, take some time off the clock down the field, they have to stay disciplined, cannot afford any penalties, and need to take what the Raiders give them, which so far hasn't been much. But you still look out there and you have some serious athletes that they can utilize. You have Savassier Dennis, you have Majid, you have Marlon Johnson, who we haven't heard from all day long, had a couple drops, and you have Mason Shipp out there on the outside. So let's see who they decide to utilize.
3:53 to go. Voss Dennis in motion. That was a weird-looking play.
Yeah,
just
again,
miscommunication, it looks like, on the Peddie side. Pat Smith able to get a 3 or 4 yard run.
And to be honest, he has been saving them. These plays could be massive negative plays, but his athleticism and his basically just his will has been able to save some of these plays.
Yeah.
And it's because the triple option really is not crisp right now. It's not crisp. You have snap issues, you have timing issues. It's something that he continues to go to and maybe will continue to go to as this game progresses. But they need to button that up a little bit in order for them to gain some yardage.
If you're Peddie, you're almost just wanting to weather the storm for the final 3 minutes of this third quarter so you can get the wind back in your favor. They're throwing here, and there's Marlon Johnson, just nothing. Trying to get him on the screen a couple of times in this game, and Hunt is all over it. That time it was Josh Henderson on the coverage, and he may have taken Marlon Johnson back a yard or two. The clock ticking under 3 minutes. It's going to be another 3rd and long for Peddie. Just not doing it here in the third quarter offensively.
No, the ball's just not getting there fast enough. It's not getting there fast enough for Marlon Johnson to be able to use his athleticism with the ball in his hands. So they try to go back to it. Obviously, you want to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and just Balan has not, for whatever reason, has not been able to get the ball to him quick enough. You have to be kind of like a shortstop turn double play with these, and with the conditions, it's not easy to do that.
So a passing situation and not favorable passing conditions here. Balan looking downfield. Dennis is in the area, but only just in the area, as it's well over his head, and Peddie will be forced to punt into the wind again. A very quick drive, 2:14 to go.
I mean, but that's why you run that play, right? The play has not been working to Johnson all game long, but they run it so that they can run that on top of it, and that was open. They had Henderson spinning, the throw just wasn't able to be made, and now Pettie's in a punt situation. But there are some things for both offenses that have been open that they have not been able to just execute on.
So Khalil Majid back to boot it away. We did see one fake earlier, and look at this punt. High in the air, and it's going to spin backwards right at the first down marker. It's an 8-yard punt. And again, the wind, it really can't be emphasized enough, the impact that the wind is having on this game, because it is blowing directly left to right or into the face of the Peddie school in the third quarter, and you have to underline the decision again. As much as you don't want to highlight it as the cause, but Coach Maleo deciding not to receive the second half kickoff and deferred for the second time in the game to kick away here in the third quarter, and Hunt has scored 15 points. Here's Josh Henderson with a solid run, but it's going to come back, as you said. There's a flag on the play.
And I think, Simon, I think the idea is you'd much rather have this, if you're able to withstand, whatever hardships that you get here in the third quarter, if you're able to keep your head above water.
You want it in the fourth quarter.
And having it in the fourth quarter with 12 minutes to play is much more ideal. So I don't think he expected all the things that have happened in the third quarter.
It
that
still
Hunt has
could
really
be the right decision.
It still could be. So we'll see.
10 yards from the point of the foul.
But at the moment, the Hun School has a clear advantage with the ball at the 39-yard line. Plenty of time here in the third quarter with the wind to move the ball down the field.
From the 39-yard line.
It's 1st and 15, and the clock runs. And a handoff to Henderson. On the delay, Henderson has a gain of about 7 as he's caught by Aiden Nash.
He picks up about 7 yards.
A little slow to get up, Josh Henderson.
And that was Barletta at quarterback.
Look at Henderson, he's limping.
From the
He'll be
Falcon
okay.
32.
I can guarantee you he'll be okay. But that was an excellent run and a great decision by Barletta. Barletta is excellent at running that read option, and you might see a lot more of him taking some snaps as the game goes on. Ian Franzoni into the game for the Raiders, scored 3 touchdowns on the ground against Hill, had a big 90-yard touchdown run against Lawrenceville, 98-yard touchdown run against Lawrenceville last week.
1 minute to go. It's Barletta on the keeper in at quarterback.
Barletta
Got a gain of a yard. Servassier Dennis with the tackle.
Tackled by
You just can't sleep on Franzoni at running back. Not too much of a drop off here when you put him in there. He runs so incredibly hard. He's a complete workhorse. He wears number 22, I believe, because of Emmitt Smith, because he mimics his game. I just made that up, but it reminds me a little bit of him as he runs.
From the Peddie 31.
All right, a 3rd and 8. Maybe the last play of the third quarter. Barletta looking to pass. Escaping pressure, throwing across his body out of bounds right at the first down marker. And the guy holding the chains had to dodge out of the way. The clock stops at 15.7 seconds.
Simon,
we'll bring up a 4th and 8.
It's a flag in the secondary. If it's holding, it's an automatic first down for the Raiders. And we'll
flag down.
The flags have not been shy. A lot of laundry on the field today.
Yeah, wow. That'll be an automatic first down, I believe.
3rd down and long, and Peddie called for a defensive penalty in the secondary, which gives an automatic first down. So Hun with a 1st and 10, now right on the verge of the red zone at the 21-yard line.
For the Raiders from the 21-yard line.
Logan Klaus back in at quarterback. Klaus looking, firing, completing. He's got DeGennaro, who shakes and bakes across the 10-yard line. And a gain of 12 will move the chains yet again with 7 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Hun School.
And something was off with that play. It looked like Peddie wasn't really ready for it. I think went on an early count there, but good pitch and catch there for the Hun Raiders.
So a 3rd quarter that is vastly in favor of the Hun School of Princeton. They outscore Peddie 15-0. They score 2 touchdowns in a matter of 2 minutes here in this 3rd quarter. And now they're knocking on the door for more. They're going to have a 1st and goal to start the 4th when we come back here to Hightstown.
Explodes for a touchdown, untouched. Brilliantly executed read option there by Barletta and Henderson.
So Josh Henderson, a 9-yard touchdown run. And the score now 21-9 after the extra point was missed wide to the right. A 12-point game now, 2 scores. The Peddie School needs to draw something up. They need some big plays. It hasn't been there for them. They will have the wind here in the 4th quarter, and that's what Chris Malayo's goal was when he deferred at the start of the 2nd half, but it might be a little bit too big of a hole to climb out of. 12 points. Still plenty of time left, but something's got to change, and quickly, for Peddie. It has, I would say the turning point probably John Mechie going out of this game.
I think that's where it started. I think for the past 15 minutes, Hun has completely dominated this football game, and Peddie just needs some sort of a jolt. I haven't heard anything from their sideline or their fans for a very, very long time. And if they get them going, get a little bit of momentum, a little bit of positivity going, then it could be a completely different game. But they have to find some way to stop Hun's offense, which they haven't been able to do here in the second half, and keep up with them physically. Hun's a very physical team. Obviously, up front, they're enormous. Peddie is as physical, and they just need to show it here.
Game-defining drive for the Peddie Falcons coming up. Pat Smith, the deep man, back to return. Kicked short to the right into the arms of Voss Dennis, who comes back across the field. What a shot, Khalil Majid. And 3 flags come in. Majid's going to get called for a penalty. I don't know what the official call is going to be. What is it, targeting? It's illegal block.
Player.
Yeah. I mean, Majid,
Voss Dennis picks up the kick on the left side and takes it all the way to the right side for a nice
things
return.
are starting to boil over on the Peddie sideline. A little frustration. You can see the players yelling at each other a little bit, yelling at the coaches. The kids are getting hot. But they've got to settle down by 12. There's still plenty of time left in this game.
It's like any time you see a return of any kind, you want them to go down, because I can't remember the last return I've seen from Peddie that didn't result in a flag, to be honest with you. So every time you see somebody try to make something out of it, it's like you're just asking for a penalty. And I knew something as soon as Voss decided to reverse field, there were plenty of opportunities to make that kind of hit. Peddie took advantage of it, and they're back 15 yards.
More importantly, nobody's hurt on the play.
Yeah.
But it's also one of the another reminder of why football at all levels are trying to eliminate those kickoffs.
Right. Good point.
So a run up the middle.
Patrick Smith on the carry up the middle.
And it'll be a second and 7 coming up after a 3 or 4 yard gain
about 4 yards
from Patrick Smith. And the clock runs 10:40 and counting here in the 4th.
And the clock is going to start to become
without their biggest weapon on the outside and John Mechie. I mean, this is not looking good for the Peddie school. But we've seen this team score quickly, no doubt about it. Balan firing deep, and they're going to call a flag. Throw a flag, I should say. They're going to call a penalty as Mason Ship was looking to get deep. It was Nick DeGennaro. Yep.
On the coverage, and it's a good job by Ship to draw the penalty. However, that play's not there. But it's 15 yards. They'll take it.
Yeah, none of those big plays have really been there for Peddie, through the air at least. We've seen a couple of big runs for Patrick Smith, but the big play ability of the Peddie Falcons really has been hampered by, you can say, the weather, but you can also probably give more credit to this stout Hun School defense. Here's Maurice Balan escaping, throwing, and he was out of bounds. Khalil Majid right at midfield was out of bounds when he caught that ball.
It was a nice complete pass, but ball was out of bounds.
They're looking to get Marlon Johnson the ball down the field, but Hun has a plan for him. They have him bracketed every time that they've tried to get the ball to him, and they've done a really good job of taking him out of this game.
Yeah, they can really key in on him without Mechie in there.
Joe Horn got up a little bit gingerly after that play. He looks to be okay.
The big weapons on the outside are Ship, Marlon Johnson, Khalil Majid now in the slot. And also in as a receiver, David Harris.
It's a big time move by Smith.
Pat Smith, he is a stud running back. This is the guy that you probably want to get the ball. He's been good throughout the game. I mean, he's been creating when there things seemingly aren't there. Maybe even getting the ball to him on a screen. So you got to get the ball in space to Patrick Smith because he's the guy. I mean, last week against Mercersburg, Tom, every time he touched the ball, he went for a touchdown. It seemed. I mean, it was unbelievable. And he's got that ability.
I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a steady dose of Balan and Smith with the ball in their hands to decide this game.
9.5 to go and counting. 1st and 10 for Peddie. They're in Hun territory. Balan throwing. There's the screen to Smith. And Smith's got a solid gain close to another first down to the 35-yard line.
Down inside the 35-yard line or all the way to the 35-yard line.
So Patrick Smith.
It's a dynamite call on your part, Simon.
Thanks, Tom.
Dynamite. Well executed, well drawn up play, and Smith making Parrish miss there to extend the play about an extra 10 yards. And you see Savassier Dennis. This has been a very, very physical game. Both teams with lots of players, and neither team has an exceptional amount of depth either. So
timeout called.
Timeout Hun.
And it's the Hun School of Princeton who calls it. 9:18 to go here in quarter number 3.
Hun up 21-9 over the Peddie Falcons.
We didn't get a chance to do this in the first half, so we'll do it now. Here's the coach's corner. Todd Smith, Chris Vallejo. 5th season for Todd Smith. How about a 36-3 career record for Todd Smith at the Hun School of Princeton? Chris Vallejo, of course, we mentioned, former player and offensive coordinator at the Hun School of Princeton. He was the Prep Offensive Player of the Year back in 2002. Todd Smith, he's coached a long time in these parts, spent 8 years as the head coach at West Windsor, Plainsboro. But these two guys, Tom, have done, I mean, they came into their respective programs at around the same time. They've each done an incredible job putting these programs on the map as powerhouses on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hunt was already kind of on that side, but obviously Todd has done a fantastic job.
It's over the head of Marlon Johnson, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And trying to get Johnson the ball again any way that they can. Maybe give Smith a little bit of a breather in terms of his workload, but look for them to go back to him somehow.
Yeah, I didn't mean to understate how the Hun School and the Peddie School were doing before these two coaches got there, but a 36-3 career record at Hun, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. He really has done an excellent job winning games here for this varsity program here at the Hun School.
9:12 to go, 2nd and 10. And Balan lost it. He's able to fall back on it, but he's going to lose a couple of yards. And the Falcons have had a lot of trouble here in this second half keeping their hands on the football. Remember, the second touchdown that actually gave the Hun School the lead was the one that was a botched snap over the head of Balan. It was recovered in the end zone by the Hun School of Princeton. So it's been these bad snaps that have been a huge part of the game here today. 3rd and long, another one that was almost over the head of Maurice Balan. And how about Patrick Smith? There was nothing there, and he just turned it in to nearly a first down run. Down on the ground, though, Brendan Ekwalu.
Very nice run up the middle.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is all right?
Yeah.
All right.
And he just looks like he shook up a little bit on the play. He is able to move. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. But that's Patrick Smith just needing just a tiny, tiny crease. And another unfortunate snap there. I think more so than the snap, because we don't want to get all over the center. Obviously, he's not trying to do this. But just the handling of the ball. I mean, just there. But the snap beforehand, you saw Balan not able to get a good grip on the football. And this was something that Peddie worked on all week. They had freezing cold footballs all week during practice, and sometimes it's really hard to simulate the kind of pressure of a game. A game situation down a couple touchdowns to really, really get a good feel for it.
Right. That was a really good play by Balan. He was pretty much full extension to save that ball from going over his head, and then Patrick Smith with a really nice run to even put Peddie in the ballpark of converting here on this 4th down. It's going to be 4th and short.
This could be the game right here.
Yep. 8:23 to go. 4th and short, Peddie with the wind and the ball. Ball on the 26-yard line. Again, Balan in the gun. Pat Smith falling forward, and he's got the first down. Beautifully done by Patrick Smith. And that is just next-level running back stuff. He was hit in the backfield, and the balance that he's got, even though he's falling down to the ground and his momentum is taking him down to the turf, he's able to get a couple of extra yards by leaning forward. Next-level stuff.
He's also a freshman. So
yeah, it's unbelievable.
A great luxury to have for the next 4 years, and something that doesn't get talked about a lot is how young this Peddie team really is. A lot of freshmen and sophomores contributing on both sides of the ball.
Balan looking end zone this time. Mason Ship is not going to get there, just out of his reach. Almost had him. Double coverage there. It was actually a pretty good throw. Put it in an area where only his guy could get it, but it's just those. All of the throws have just been a step or two off for Maurice Balan here today. It's not necessarily his fault. Again, throwing with the wind, the balls are sailing on him. At the very least, the clock stops for Peddie. 7:47, 2nd and 10 here from the 25. Over his head again, and Pat Smith picks it up. Patrick Smith now playing returner almost, and taking all the way down to the 41. Wow. And the Hun School just gave Peddie a huge favor.
Unnecessary.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Taken down for a big loss, but there is a flag on the play.
No need. No need for that. So the Hun School of Princeton would have had Peddie backed up at a 3rd and a million. Would have been about a 3rd and, 25? And instead, Hun draws a penalty flag. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and it's not an automatic first down, but it does pretty much wipe away all of the negative yardage that Peddie picked up there.
Personal foul is not.
It should be 2nd down. It's going to be 2nd down and 11. So
big break there.
Yeah, huge break for
Big
Peddie.
break there for Peddie.
Once again, a
referee's hat blew off. Take a breather.
2nd and 11, 7:34 to go. Again, a big break for Peddie as the Hun School commits a personal foul penalty to bring him back, and they pretty much get to redo the down. Timeout. Who called it? Peddie called it.
Timeout. Peddie with 7:27
Interesting
left in the game.
timeout call there. Obviously, you don't want to. The coach has got so much on his plate that you never know what he's dealing with. But from the fans' perspective and our perspective, right, you're down by 12. The clock is stopped already. You're going to need those timeouts later probably. It's an important part of the game, and you want to make sure you're executing. But things have just not been going fluidly here in this second half for the Falcons.
Maybe there was something that Coach Malayo saw that would have completely blown up what he had planned to do. So obviously, when that is a huge concern, we want to be able to regroup and figure things out here. 2nd and long, could be another screen situation here.
Balan hands it off instead to Patrick Smith, spins off the first would-be tackler, and then he's taken down by Gavin Casey at the 25. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.
And I think Balan, earlier in the game, Balan made a decision to keep the ball, and it led to a big-time negative play. And I think since that point, he hasn't. I don't know if he's kept the ball. Yeah. So he's been giving it to Smith, and it's been working so far. But now another 3rd and long situation.
Clock under 7 minutes, 6:50 and counting. Maurice Balan on 3rd and 10, back to pass. Now he's scrambling. Throws across his body, and he completes. Got his man, Marlon Johnson, finally makes an appearance.
Looks like a first down.
And it is a first down right across the 11-yard line. And so Peddie will have a 1st and 10 just outside the 10.
It's a big-time play by Balan. Balan had 2 linebackers
First and
staring
10
him
for
down. He
Falcons
knew
from
that if
the
he tucked it,
12.
not only was it a risk of not getting the first down, but he was going to take a big blow. He saw a streaking Johnson across the field and got it to him. And hopefully that's something that Peddie, can keep going in terms of getting Johnson the football.
Well, now Patrick Smith. Man, this is unbelievable. He's still on his feet. Pat Smith is still running, though he's going to be running backwards. It was an incredibly athletic play to even keep the play alive. And there was a play like that in the Mercersburg game last week that Pat Smith, he took a kick return and looked like he should have been taken down, came all the way across the field and ended up taking it for a touchdown. It's not going to be the same against this Hunt School Raiders team, who is able to pursue Smith with fervor. And it's 2nd and long. Big spot in the game here for Peddie. They're in danger territory on 2nd and long. Clock under 5:35 and counting. Balan screens. Pat Smith still on his feet. Leaps in the air. How did he get that high? I mean, he was lifted up, I guess, by the guy trying to tackle him. But
it's a good play. Hey,
like
here's the thing with
shoes
screens.
on.
Here's the thing with screens. You have to block people. You can't just let him make everybody miss. You have 3 300-pound dudes in the middle of the field touch somebody and move them in a direction.
The pickup gets the Falcons inside the 15-yard line back to the Hun 14, where it's going to be 3rd and about 11.
I'm just speechless after seeing Patrick Smith take off like that. And good to see that he's okay. He got so high in the air and obviously took a fall, because what goes up must come down. But at least he's able to give Peddie a couple of shots to convert. 3rd and 12. Again, it's always 4-down territory with Chris Maleo. And a field goal wouldn't do them any good anyway. Balan looking to throw. Rolling right, not a lot of room there. And it's Pat Smith who catches a short pass across the 10. Maybe a gain of 4. So 4th down upcoming. And here, Tom, would you say this is the game right here?
Yeah, no doubt.
So
Absolutely no doubt.
So 4th and 8.
Right to the 10-yard line, where it's going to be 4th
Under
and 8
5 to play.
Falcons.
Clock running. Maurice Balan has a discussion with Coach Maleo and goes back to the huddle. Balan's got time to throw and room on the left side. Still looking for somebody into the end zone. He throws. It's off the hands of his intended target, and it's incomplete, and the Hunt School of Princeton takes over. They've got a 12-point lead and the ball.
David Harris in the end zone, and that's going to be
David Harris
downs for the Falcons.
Could not reel it in.
And that was there. It was there.
From their own 11-yard line for the
In the
Hunt
back
Raiders.
of the end zone, he had 2 guys that could have possibly come up with that through the hands. And still a good amount of time left. Certainly a much steeper uphill battle here for the Falcons.
4:22, Tom, and is this Josh Henderson time?
It absolutely is. In this kind of a situation, you give the ball to your big dog and you let him go. Just a phenomenal job by this Hun defense to really stand tall there and dealing with even that unsportsmanlike penalty, being able to bounce back from that. A great stand by the Hun defense.
Josh Henderson is the back in the backfield. Jackson Barletta, though, takes it himself. May have been an option. And he falls forward. Maybe a gain of 1.
And you're seeing
half a yard,
which was different than in the first half. A lot of helping each other up. I think there is at the end of the day a ton of mutual respect. I think this is definitely the most difficult game that each team has played this season. And when you add the emotions in of a league rivalry, a league championship on the line, I think at the end of the day they feel that at the end of the game, as we're seeing right now, and you're seeing guys helping each other up, and you're seeing guys pat each other on the back, and they're enjoying a game that they love together, even though it is a rivalry.
Definitely a good thing to see after all of the flags that have flown for unsportsmanlike conduct and the like. We got a timeout on the field. There is 3:40 on the clock, and the Hun School of Princeton is the one that takes the timeout. Here's the next games for each team. Peddie, obviously, with the famous Peddie-Blair Day, that rivalry, which goes back more than a century, taking place at Blair Academy this year, and that's going to happen next Saturday, November 3rd. And Mercersburg next on the docket for the Hun School of Princeton. They'll come to the Hun School of Princeton. And that game is actually scheduled for Sunday, November 4th.
Yes, and that is the reason why we do it Sunday. Mercersburg 3.5 hours away. Saturday is an SAT day. So they have everybody travel on Sunday to play Mercersburg.
2nd and 9.
Far and away the most distant
Sorry, we lost the
member of the Maple.
second.
One of 2 Pennsylvania schools in the Mid-Atlantic Prep League. Gavin Casey bruising his way forward for a gain of 3 or 4.
Gavin Casey looking like a young Dustin Pucciatti of CB West fame. Familiar with him? No, I was going for something there. Thought you'd be onto it. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss, indeed.
Swing and a miss.
He was a big time. How's On Baseball going to be this year, by the way?
I think it'll be good.
Did you watch the World Series last night?
For it. I watched the first 12 innings, not the second 12, or 7, whatever it was, 19 innings, 18 innings.
3rd and 6. Oh, Josh Henderson with a solid run. And he's going to move the chains for a first down.
The 25-yard line for a
Under 3 minutes to play, and the Hun School of Princeton inching closer to a Maple championship.
First down makes it 1st and 10 for the Raiders from their own.
Oh, it was one of those
26-yard
instances
line.
last night where I fell asleep in the 9th inning, woke up, and it was the 15th. Said, I'll watch an inning. Couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah, of course.
Watched the final 3.
Clock is running with
1st and 10. The clock's going to stop here. 2:24. And Hun takes it. So now we have a little bit more clarity on that decision by Maleo at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. I know you're close to Chris. I'm close to Chris. You know, and I think in every game you're going to have decisions that you have to make that are risky either way.
Yeah.
They might have sound logic, but it comes back in the end to hurt you.
Yeah.
If it were you, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly have not spent enough time thinking about this game. I know this is something that has been on his mind pretty much the whole season. And knowing the conditions as he was tracking them the whole week leading up to the game, I think this was an idea that he had in his head, and it's important to stick with that if you believe in it. And a couple crazy plays. A great play by Dylan Devaney.
Oh, there's a fumble on the ground, and Peddie, they might have it, and they might have some life here.
No,
and the Peddie Falcons have the football.
They're saying it's down, I believe.
Well, one of the referees was pointing Peddie's direction.
Wow.
That's a fumble. Yeah, that ball was out.
Look at that, Simon. How do you like that?
Whoa. So just when we thought this game was over, Peddie now has some life. Do they have any timeouts left, Tom?
I thought they had 2. I wasn't sure.
They have 2 timeouts left. So the only timeout taken with 7:30 to go. And look at this. Another flag thrown against the Hun School of Princeton.
What was it?
I think it was an unsportsmanlike conduct.
See, that's just
another one. That was that like 6th or 7th one against Hun.
Can't happen. Can't happen.
So 1st and 10, right? Let's see where they spot the ball. It might be a 1st and goal.
I mean, Peddie absolutely has to score here, and they have to score quickly.
Yeah.
Hun's defense has been incredible during this second half. Like, absolutely tremendous, especially up front. Gavin Casey and Prince Ekawabu making plays all over the field. So let's see, this is a big stand, backs up against the wall, only one way to go.
1st and 10 from the 11. A handoff to Pat Smith, running east to west, now trying to turn upfield. Gavin Casey got a hit on him, and Pat Smith falls forward to the 6. Gotta hurry if you're Peddie. Clock at 2:07 and counting. Down by 12, they need a score, and then probably an onside kick. Still have 2 timeouts in their pockets. 2nd and 6 upcoming.
The fast-paced nature of the game is something that Peddie was able to prepare for against Malvern and Gonzaga, both high-tempo teams.
Balan to run. No room, but he still finds some, and he's close to the end zone, but he's short.
Down.
Yeah, he may have the first down. He's right at that marker as the referee is coming to spot it. To the 2-yard line. And Peddie needs to punch it in. 1:31 to go. Quickly back to the line. It's a 3rd and short officially. Pat Smith taken down, shy of the goal line. More precious time coming off the clock, and Peddie going to call a timeout, it looks like. Maybe not, because the clock would stop for a spot if they got the first down, right?
It should.
I believe, is that what it is? That is what it is. So they stop the clock for the first down. And now they run it again. 1:20 to go. 1st and goal. It's a keeper, and trying to push his way forward into the end zone is Balan. No signal from the referees. He may be just short. It looks like that's what they're going to call. So, tick, tick, tick. Now the clock will stop. Is Peddie calling a timeout? Yep, they're forced to call a timeout here. 1:06. 1:06 on the clock. So just when it looked like the Hun School of Princeton was going to run the ball, run the clock away, I didn't see, who was it that fumbled? I don't know.
It was an exchange.
Oh, it was on the exchange. Okay, so there was a fumble on the exchange. And so they fumble the ball. Not only that, they commit a personal foul penalty that puts Peddie on the doorstep. And they're letting the Falcons have some life here. So now Peddie has the clock stopped. Now just 1 timeout to go. 1:06, and they really need to score. Probably on this play. Balan again. Helped by his teammate. He's in the end zone for a touchdown. So Peddie back on the board, 1:03 on the clock. He got a little extra shove from David Harris in the back to get in. So 21-15. Oh. 21-15. They're lined up to go for 1. Single point, 2 points, doesn't really matter here. Peddie still needs another touchdown. Kick is up. The kick is good. So the Falcons back on the board. A 1-yard run from Maurice Balan. And Peddie down by 5. Hun will receive, but likely in the form of an onside kick.
And this will be it, Simon. This will decide whether or not this game continues with Peddie only with 1 timeout left, I believe.
Yeah, 1 timeout. They had to burn one there because the clock was running down. They couldn't punch it in.
Yep.
And it has not been easy. The Hun School defense, really, I mean, up front, they have not made anything easy running the football. And Patrick Smith had a pretty good game, even despite that. Just highlighting how much of a stud he really is.
And Hun being able to take away the the conditions, whatever you want to call it, being able to take away the pass game for Peddie, really was a huge benefit for that defense, and a great game plan has really paid off here today. Obviously, some injuries contributing to that as well, but you can't take anything away from this Hun defense. They did an excellent job today, as they've done all season long.
By the way, the players just came out onto the field on the wrong side.
Little things like that.
Again, Peddie with the wind here. It has died down a little bit, but still blowing. One timeout for the Peddie School. It's Noah Harney in. And the onside kick to the left side is picked, and Marlon Johnson has it.
That's so another example, cannot advance.
Can't advance it. We've seen it twice in this game.
What a beautiful kick.
Oh my gosh.
Kick
what a
was
kick.
tremendous.
That was one of the best onside
Marlon
kicks
Johnson
I
made
think
his
I've
best
seen.
catch of the game. The best catch of the game he makes on an onside kick.
How about that kick from Noah Harney? And look at the celebration here. Noah Harney with what's got to be the biggest play of his life. And Tom, I'm sure there are plays that you have in high school that you still replay.
Yep.
That's going to be one that for the rest of his life he's going to remember. In a huge moment, a game that probably should have been decided a couple minutes ago, to give his team some life. If you miss the onside kick, the game's over. The Hun School wins.
Yeah, a great job, and just a phenomenal way to execute in a really, really big situation. All pressure on him to give his team a fighting chance to win this game, and that was.
Whoa! What's going on here? Hun School celebrating.
I don't know what's happening.
Malayo's not happy. It should be Peddie ball, because you're not allowed to bat a ball forward. It should be Peddie ball, but obviously they can't have it where Marlon Johnson caught it. He has to have it where he batted it, right? But it still should be Peddie ball. Remember what I said earlier, Tom, that it's not a Peddie Hun game without some controversy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly confused.
As are we all.
Tell you what, though, the juices are flowing.
First and 10, I think.
Yeah, it is Peddie football, 45-yard line.
The confusing thing was that Hun started celebrating, and Malayo was not happy, clearly indicating that it would have been Hun football, but it looks like Peddie is going to get the football, which, of course, is the correct call, but they're not able to advance the ball. There's 1:03 to go, 1:03 on the clock. Peddie down by 5. They've got a first and 10 from the 45, and they do have one timeout. Balan, time to throw. Now he's going to roll. Throw to the sideline. He's got his man, Mason Ship, the sophomore receiver.
He's got to get out of bounds on that play,
Yep,
Simon.
the clock running.
Ship's first reception of the game. They might have to waste a timeout because he wasn't able to get out of bounds.
51.8 seconds, but it was a first down, Tom, so the clock does stop for the spot. They want 5 seconds back on the clock. He just said add 5 up here to the booth. We've got the official referee right next to us. And
some call him the best scorer in New Jersey.
Right there, 56.8 seconds is the official time on the clock. So first and 10. The clock had to stop for the first down. So now Balan looking deep. Marlon Johnson's in the area. It's over his head. Johnson probably should have kept going. He kind of stopped, and the ball, again, it's going to be deceiving for the receivers because if there's no wind, it probably falls where Marlon Johnson is. But because there's wind, you add a little, probably add 5 or 6 yards of carry there. Second and 10. 44.5 seconds, still one timeout for the Peddie School.
It's a lot of time.
This has turned into an exciting game, hasn't it, Tom?
It sure has. It sure has. Some weird penalties thrown in there, some big-time plays, some great defense, some great physical football. You got everything here.
Oh, Balan with a bad snap, recovers. Throws in the direction of Patrick Smith. It's incomplete. 3rd and 10. Clock stops. So 3rd down, 10 yards to go.
And the silver lining there is Peddie didn't have to burn a timeout, so still a lot of time left on the clock. They have 2 downs to get 10 yards. They have to figure out the snap situation to be able to have a shot.
Coach Maleo and Maurice Balan having a discussion. These are probably the situations that Coach Maleo dreams about. He loves these offensive situations. Try to be creative and win a game late. Pat Smith, the running back next to Balan. Maurice flushed out. Throws down the middle. Oh, it's off of Marlon Johnson's hands again. 4th down and 10.
Wide open, a great throw. You got to make that play. You just absolutely have to make that play. It's right in your hands. A 1st down looming. Great pursuit there by Blake Hansen. Maybe he felt him coming. Catch has got to be made.
Yeah, Johnson pats his chest between the 2 1s on his jersey and says, "My bad." And oh wow, oh my God, we have another penalty.
I think that's an automatic 1st down, is it not, Ed?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's Gavin Casey over here pleading with the referees. Defensive holding is the call. Unbelievable.
And it is an automatic 1st down.
Automatic 1st down.
This is the weirdest game I've ever been a part of.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, Tom.
Yeah.
At least you're sheltered.
This is very true. On a wet Saturday here at the end of October. About 3 days from Halloween.
You going out this year?
No. I've been two costumes my whole life: The Rock and Mike Ditka.
Come on, be ready.
Have you been those multiple years?
Oh yeah.
All right, nice.
Different versions.
1st and 10 after the penalty. Balan gets rid of it. Wow, he was coming down. As in on him, number 73, that's Caden Wallace.
Caden Wallace taking his gigantuan grip and being able to pull down.
We haven't talked much about Caden Wallace. He's an offensive lineman, so he doesn't get much love. But 6'6", 310 from Robbinsville.
Yeah, well,
heading to Penn State.
He gets enough love because he was selected as an All-American for the All-American Bowl as the 5th player in Hun's history to be selected for that. So he has had an exceptional high school career, and obviously James Franklin looking forward to having him for the next however many years at Penn State.
2nd and 10, 28 seconds to go. A touchdown wins the game for Peddie. They set up a screen. Pat Smith still on his feet inside the 15. Clock's going to run. Under 20 seconds to play, and Peddie's going to be forced to burn their timeout, I believe.
And how about Ian Franzoni coming off the edge and lowering an absolute boom to Maurice Balan after he threw the pass.
We got arguments all over the field. Coach Maleo's talking with the refs. Guys are jumping up and down on the Hun sideline. Nobody's happy.
I think there might be an idea that Peddie did not have a remaining timeout.
Well, we know that they did, right?
Yeah,
but maybe the Hun school over there on the far sideline did not. Now, oftentimes, Todd Smith is up here in the booth. He's now down on the field coaching his Hun Raiders. And
for the past couple of games, for the past, I would say, I think 4 games for Hun, he has been up in the booth and signaling down to basically being able to read defenses from a higher angle and be able to signal down to an assistant coach, to call the plays. And it's been working for him. Today, he decided to go on the sideline. Kind of a cramped booth situation. But it's been so far it's been okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to tell you that it hindered his team's performance. He's coached plenty of times down on the sideline, and his team has performed admirably to this point, with the exception of the personal foul penalties. 3rd and 2.
Right.
Clock is stopped at 18.4 seconds.
Yeah, and no timeouts. So
no timeouts, yep.
Crucial.
But the clock does stop if they pick up 2 yards for a first down. Balan, quick throw. Johnson's got it. He's out of bounds.
That's a huge
First
play.
down, and the clock stops. The clock would reset if he didn't get out of bounds. The clock would reset as they spotted.
But they would have had to.
But now they
rush to
can
the line
take.
of scrimmage.
Now
right.
they can
now
take their
huddle.
time, make sure that they call the right play. And Tom, you got 14 seconds here. You don't have any timeouts. It's first and goal from the 9. You almost have to go to the end zone. I mean, you got 4 shots at the end zone
He
here,
cannot
right?
scramble.
You can't scramble.
He cannot scramble.
You can't call a play that's within those 9 yards. You got to throw for the end zone, right?
You have to.
Balan takes the snap. He looks. He fires. He completes. Short of the end zone. Pat Smith at the 4-yard line. There's 6 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Balan spikes it with 0.8 seconds.
Wow. Hey, so let's go back to 2001.
0.8 seconds.
Chris Malayo's playing quarterback at the Hun School. We're in the exact same situation against Peddie to win a Maple championship. We run 3 straight sneaks with 0.8 seconds to go on the clock. We run another sneak. Denied. Peddie wins the Maple championship. Now flip the script. He's the head coach. We're in a very similar situation. Let's see what happens here.
Deja vu situation here for Tom Monfiletto and Chris Malayo. Tom Monfiletto, our color commentator, former teammate of Chris Malayo, head coach of the Peddie School. This is the game. 0.8 seconds last play. A score for the championship. Balan throws. Incomplete and intercepted. The Hun School of Princeton comes away with the victory.
What a game. What a game. What an incredible game.
Malcolm Brunson.
An unbelievable ending to an unbelievable game. That's outstanding.
This game really did have it all. Poor conditions, obviously, but both teams weathered the storms to put on a show here at Hightstown High School. The final 21-16. The Hun School of Princeton defeats the Peddie School, which all but secures the Mid-Atlantic Prep League Championship for the Hun School of Princeton. A win next week against Mercersburg will put the icing on the cake. But this was the big battle. 2 teams coming in at 3-0, and it's the Hun School of Princeton who they bent. They did not break in the end. 0.8 seconds and a play. I can't believe that they were able to spike that ball in time to have one last chance, and it pretty much be a walk-off either way. It was going to be a walk-off offensive play or a walk-off defensive play for the Hun School or for the Peddie School, and it's the Hun School of Princeton on top. Wow.
Yeah, it got a little bit like there was a point in the game where Hun had the ability to just run the clock down with 3 minutes to go. A fumble on an exchange led to all kinds of craziness, and it's just a wild, wild, wild finish here at Hightstown High School. The whole thing, everything about this game has been bizarre. You change location because of the weather conditions. You play on turf. Whether it's the snaps, the penalties, the big plays, the onside kick, this was one of the wildest games I've ever experienced, and a tremendous finish to a really great game.
Tom, it's been a pleasure. I'm happy that you were here. It's brought up some blasts from the past. As I said, you're back from the back from the Strive Dead. It's been fun. It's been fun. I know that you're here mostly so you could have some shelter from the rain and the wind outside because you were going to be working, doing God knows what for the Hun School of Princeton. But it has been fun. A final, again, 21-16, Hun over Peddie here in this battle from Hightstown High School. So I want to take the time to thank our camera operator who did have to brace the storm. Kevin Fodinger did a phenomenal job out there.
Best in the biz.
Best in the biz. Tom Monfiletto, my color commentator, any last words, any thoughts?
No, I appreciate you having me on. It was a blast. Thank you.
All right, man. Simon Rosenwasser here, signing off on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on PBPSN.